Well, how's everyone doing tonight? Everybody relax. Everybody having a good time. Uh, Woo, what's up, sir? Josh Rumsey with a super sticker with a 9.99. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate the super chat. Kicking it off with a Tendo. Appreciate that. Good vibes to you, sir. Good vibes. Let's go ahead and get a hello. I didn't know Uncle Lou did a rap. Uh, that's interesting. Very interesting. Let's go ahead and kick him off here. What's up, Ultra Mega Dog? TikTok Test Hall. Icify. Julia Young's Ram Dog. Cliff Millwood, how you doing? Day 2.0. Nuke the Great 88. Josh Rumsey. Pastor Dave, one of our resident members. Always here with the thumbs up. Appreciate you, Pastor Dave. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the channel. Steph Roth, how you doing, sir? Well, your team has anxiety. I don't know, sir. Maybe not. Maybe. Maybe. I hope y'all beat them like a drum for 5 quarters. I mean, just show up beating them like a drum for you ever get on the field and for 10 minutes after. I want you guys to run up and down the field and welcome Brian Kelly to the SEC and show him what it's all about down here. Alabama and Georgia run this conference, not LSU, not Tennessee, not Florida, or any of them other scrubs. All Georgia and all Alabama. So that having been said, I want to take this time to say I appreciate each and every one of you guys uh, getting this channel over 6,000 subscribers. Much appreciated. On we're on the hunt now for 10,000, but we're going to go for 7,000 first. 10,000 is on the list. So we have ambitions to hit 5 digits, but we're going to start with going for 7. So no, Julia, I did not see or hear about Uncle Lou's rap. Didn't know Uncle Lou did a rap. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Georgia game. We're gonna talk about the Tennessee game. What is all right, so I haven't seen this. Let's do this. I'll tell you what. We'll get if you got give me a thumbs up in the chat if you want to get my uh blind reaction to Uncle Lou's rap video. If you guys want me to do it, I'll do it if you don't know. Why does college football world all of a sudden hate Georgia? Everyone rooting for Tennessee. I don't know, man. I don't know. Georgia getting hated on, but that's the truth. I have found Uncle Lou's new hit single. Oh, we got a couple of thumbs up. If I can get to 10 thumbs up, I'll review it. How about that? That fair? We got 4. I'll post the video. We'll watch it in screen together. We'll see what we can come up with. Here's the like this. That's what I meant. And a lot of famous analysts say Georgia. Bama fans are not pulling for the Vols. I bet they're not. We got a nice chair, man. We'll leave it right there. How many thumbs up we got? We got 5. We need 5 more. Where you going, TikTok? Running off on me, man. See how it is. I don't know if the game is like the 2013 Iron Bowl. Hell no, we won't storm the field. Hell no. Why would we storm the field? It's Tennessee. Those of you who don't know, Georgia is 32-1. in Athens, 2017. And I have nary one time heard Kirby Smart say anything like what he said uh, about wanting the fans to show up for a game. Pastor Dave is also correct. If you're a true Bama fan, you'll never pull for Tennessee. That's like Georgia pulling for Auburn, man. I'm just not going to pull for Auburn. Not going to do it. I don't necessarily love Alabama, but I can respect Alabama. Alabama has never done the dirty stuff that Auburn has done. I just can't pull for it. I can't pull for Georgia Tech either. Georgia Tech could be playing. I'm not going to finish that statement, but this is me. I'll let you guys know. I plan on going for a while tonight, so I'm going in and out. You guys hear me okay now? Turn up the gain a little bit. Is that better? Somebody let me know what the sound is, how the sound is. Uncle Lou made a rap video. Huh? Curious. I'm really curious. 5 more thumbs up in the chat. Not on the video itself. Do that. Get the video itself, but um do that. I want to see thumbs up in the chat over here. Give me 5 more thumbs up in the chat, and I'll do a live blind reaction to this video. Bill Wood, he said he's gonna cheat the system. You know what? I needed a laugh. So that having been said, we'll just all right, let's get out here. Having to sit down, multiple camera angles. Looks like an Elgato board there too. That's nice. That looks like Adobe Premiere.
So, I told y'all I was bringing this heat. They keep telling me to bring the juice. Players, I'm going to keep bringing this juice. Now, I want you to keep bringing that killer mentality, that physicality. Take them boys back to reality, the whole nation. I'm going to keep bringing this heat. Hey, let's come to Athens, stay locked in, get this win, and I'm going to keep bringing it. I'm going to keep bringing the flow. GBO, let's go.
Them dogs.
See if it's like coming today. Tennessee bringing the orange earthquake on this Saturday today. Get ready to be slayed. You guys ain't ready. Ain't no dog.
What?
Tennessee, there is a Paul. We coming to bring the southern sprawl. You won't be able to call the law.
All right, hold on. Hats off to this guy for having the courage to put this video up. I always find something nice to say about somebody, right? And he obviously spent some time on the lyrics. I'm not saying he did a great job with them. And he's trying to develop a rhythm. Oh, this is painful.
Best call your papaw after Saturday. You won't feel like we drove you through the ass and fall. So no need to crawl. Ooga, he really
Ooga.
Smokey in the one. That's because we coming to lay that dog to rest. Hey, y'all stay locked in. I promise you, I'm gonna keep bringing it. Proud of y'all. Let's go. GBO, let's go.
What in the Sam Hill? Did his neck beard get in the way or something? What? All right, what's Lou doing, boy? He got that determined look on his face. He's writing line after line. What is he doing, man? Uh-oh, they done made him put the shades on. Oh, no. Oh, no. Putting the dog head on. Oh, he's got to put the cloak on. Oh, no. They didn't.
Another one.
Oh, it done made him go pure gangster on him.
Another one.
Another one.
Another one. Another one.
Tennessee, yeah, this one's easy. Get on your knees, head back and choke on these. I'm not your enemy, I'm the power that be. I own your mind, and Georgia owns the SEC. Oh, I'm not your cup of tea. You want me to go, want me to stop the show? No, I'ma go with the flow. You acting like you didn't know. I've been telling you since a while ago. I'm a pimp, involve fans, all my Hendon hoes.
Another one. Another one.
Okay, let's get it straight. There's a reason that Georgia dominates and separates, and y'all are always second rate, a day late. You wish that you could imitate, but fat boy just can't pull his own weight. Now let me educate. It's not up for debate. It's 2022, not 1998. You've been irrelevant. You don't matter at all. You want to run with the dogs, bitch? You can't even crawl. Get out my face. You know we're close to legit. Now run to the comments and type some more dumb shit, idiot ball cards.
That was a pretty tight
Fire on my
line.
shoulder, cause come Saturday, your fucking season is over.
That was way better. That was way better.
Another one.
All right, so that was. I got to admit, man, that was pretty good. That was pretty good. Hit it. Go over and give Uncle Lou a thumbs up for that one, man. Pretty good lines in that. You know what I'm gonna have to do? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Can we get some Southern rock in here? Only Southern. Talking about like Leonard Skinner or Freebird or something like that. Outlaw country. Oh, looker ain't no looker. That's oh man, that was pretty good. That's off to Uncle Luke. Uh, that was pretty funny. Watching that one guy come out of the gate with couldn't even hold a beat. Dang, double dang. I appreciate that, Julia. Thank you for putting me onto that. I didn't know that I didn't know he made that. Although I thought after when he said he made a rap video and it was a parody, I thought he was gonna be picking on X Wing Sports. Uh, X Wing made a rap video too. Lou don't want a Grammy. Lou wants another natty. Just like you. Hey, there's Uncle Lou. What's going on, big dog? Hey, that was pretty good, man. That was pretty good. I really like that. He told me you made that video. I had to check it out, man. Impressive. I liked it. So I was looking up some stats earlier today. If you guys don't know, Pigskin Pete does a news show some days, and you have to go check that stuff out. It's actually really good. That was really good, Lou. That was a really good job, Lou. Didn't know you could do that, my man. Uh, Once again, Lou proves his talents are boundless and endless. What's up, Chiquita? What's up, unruly Simeon? So this coming up Saturday, tomorrow, it's going to be an absolute banger. I mean, I don't really see how Tennessee is gonna be able to compete with Georgia. I don't really see how they're getting so much hype. Their offense really was basically the same offense they've been running, and they weren't this hyped up whenever they played Alabama. Folks weren't beating the drum on this when they played Alabama. So I'm trying to understand how people think this is really outstanding. Georgia clearly plays. The audio is terrible again. I need to turn the gain up even more. How's that? Is that better? Hashtag professional. There's about a million different things that cutting out a lot. I don't know why I shouldn't be cutting out. I'm not uploading anything. You try something here. Let me know if it gets any better. Let me know if it gets any worse. Let me know if it stays the same. Just let me know. So what I'm gonna do here is I was looking at the stats earlier whenever we were talking about total defense, total offense on the beat show earlier. So here's one of the things I wanted to show you guys. Just kind of how Georgia measures up to Tennessee in a lot of the stats categories. And I'm going to be pulling stats from uh, NCAA, so not from ESPN, just straight from the NCAA. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see it. I know a lot of people aren't stat junkies and all this other stuff, and stats don't win ball games, and that's fine. But I do want you guys to see what I'm seeing. So this stat right here, which is kind of hard to see, if I can, this is the individual stat or team stats for total defense. Illinois, Boise State, Michigan, and Georgia. 461 plays, 2,100 yards, 4.56 yards of play, 7 touchdowns, yards per game, 262. This is kind of the number we want to look at. 262 yards per game is what Georgia is allowing. So come down here, you can see over here that Tennessee's not even on this list. They're giving up a boatload of yards every single game. As good as Iowa's defense is, Georgia's is better. Alabama's is 14th. Georgia's defense is 3.5 times better than Alabama's defense. So they haven't played a defense anything like with what Georgia plays. So we're looking at Georgia on third down conversion. This is another crucial part to why Georgia is going to be able to maintain drives. So here's third down conversion rate. Georgia is number 6, converting at 52.5% of the time. Tennessee is 12th, and they converting just over 50% of the time. So statistically speaking, Georgia 6, Tennessee's at 12. I would say that's twice as good, but it's only about a 2% conversion rate different. So that having been said, Georgia's just as efficient on offense on third down as they are. Look at fourth down percentage converting. Georgia is second in the country. Tennessee's tied for ninth. Georgia converts almost 89% of the time on fourth down. Tennessee converts less than three quarters. Big difference there. So, we're looking at all kind of different stats here. If we look at fewest penalties, Georgia, number 4 in the country, 8 games, 32 total penalties for 314. Tennessee doesn't even make the list. It's a very undisciplined ball club. These aren't numbers that I'm making up, guys. First down defense, Georgia, 4th in the country, third in the Power 5. Tennessee, by the way, Alabama's 34th here, guys. So when you're looking on that first down defense, this is where Georgia hurts teams on first down. Fourth in the country, better than Ohio State. Alabama at 34. Tennessee doesn't even make the list. So Clemson's at 41st. So whenever Alabama is at 34, and that's pretty much the best defense they have played, you could say maybe LSU because they're at 31. There is absolutely no comparison in defense. If we want to look at passing offense, now Tennessee is number 2 in the country here, no doubt about it. Look at Georgia though, number 8. Not a big jump. Not a big jump. Yards per game, 328 for Georgia, 353 for Tennessee. At a 25-yard difference. That 4 yard, 6 yards a quarter. Dramatic, dramatic. Johnny Wilkerson says hit the thumbs up. He's all over it, man. So we look at here's another one I wanted to show you guys. Red zone defense. Georgia number 2 in the country, only behind UCF. 64.3%. Tennessee at 72. Might as well say 72. Big difference here. Now let's look at red zone offense. Georgia is number 1 in the country in red zone offense at 98%. Tennessee, they're good. They're number 6, but they're 95.5%. So I get that they have overall more yards and maybe overall more points, but whenever you take into consideration how what I'm saying, efficient Georgia is, scoring defense, Georgia number 2, scoring offense, Tennessee number 1, Georgia number 6. And all of the categories where Tennessee is really strong, Georgia's really close if they're behind. In all of the places where Georgia is strong, it's a big difference. Big difference. Points per game, 49. Points per game, 42. A touchdown difference at best. But when you factor in the amount of defense, it's terrible. Terrible. Passing efficiency, Tennessee is number 1. This is the one where they separate themselves from Georgia. Georgia is, 26th. 153, 198. This is the one category where they're really good. I'm going to show you where is the passing passing yards per completion. Tennessee's 5th. We're just way down here at 45th. 15.79. So this seems like a big jump between 5 and where Georgia's at, but 15.79. Georgia's way down here. They're right at 13 yards. So it's really only a 2-yard difference overall. And there was another one I wanted to show you guys. Yeah. So here it is, total offense. Total offense. Tennessee, number 1 in the country, 13 more plays. They have roughly 180 more yards. They're getting 553 yards per game. Georgia's getting 530. You factor in that pretty much everybody that plays Tennessee is breaking records in their passing game. Georgia is very likely to pass Tennessee in this tomorrow. Yards per play, 7.4, 7.2. They will not have 7.4 against Georgia. Not going to happen. Defense is way too strong. So, and I'm not going to keep boring you guys with these stats, but there is passing yards, passing yards allowed. On offense? Yeah. So first down on offense, Georgia is ahead of Tennessee. So a lot of these stats that they keep bragging about how good Tennessee's offense is, I think people don't understand how good Georgia's offense is. Georgia's offense is getting overlooked in big ways. And whenever you couple in the fact that as good as Georgia is, um, you look at let me where is it? Passing offense. Alabama, I know Alabama's on Florida on here. Florida's not on. Teams that aren't even on its list for breaking records at their school for passing against Tennessee. Hold on, Jay Shites. Um, I really don't understand it. I really don't understand it. People say, "Hey, you're a Georgia fan, you got blinders on." Look, I know I'm a Georgia fan. You think this is the first time I've ever seen a game where we play a top ranked opponent? No. If you go back and you look at the national championship game, I didn't pick Georgia. I didn't pick anybody. I let the cards fall where they may. So that was a game where I felt it was history. They went out there and dominated. Um, I did pick Georgia to win in the SEC championship. Georgia did not win that game, but um, that's an SEC championship. I very rarely pick Georgia to go undefeated. I didn't pick Georgia to go undefeated last year. I'm not picking Georgia to go undefeated this year. I would I would think that it's possible Georgia could lose the SEC championship, so get in the playoff. Losing this game makes it extraordinarily difficult to get back into the college football playoff. What's going on, Kobe? One of our other resident members. He's always welcome here. He's one of those guys who decided to support the channel and help out and pay for some of these bills. Come along with this. Software is not free and cheap, and pro versions of stuff is not free and cheap. Running all these lights ain't cheap. So we appreciate you helping out the channel, Kobe. Thank you very much. Don't forget that Josh earlier, Josh Josh Rumsey right out of the gate hit us with. Make sure I recognize him. This is going to be a good game. I think I posted a video where I went on probably longer than I should have, about a 20-minute rant about the game, and I keep going back and looking over this game, and I do not have the anxiety for this game that I have for bigger games. Like, I was more nervous about the Oregon game than I am. Bennett is not nearly as good as Hendon Hooker, nor is your offensive passing out. Go Vols, yo. Well, that may be the case, but I don't think the stats bear that out. Bennett is a good quarterback. He has a lot more experience on the big stage than Hendon Hooker has, and this is the biggest stage to date that Hendon Hooker will have been on. Playing a big game against Alabama is huge. Don't get me wrong, but you played them at home, so that helps. Today, tomorrow, excuse me, you guys are going to be playing the number one slash number three team in the country at home. And this game will decide whether or not you go to the SEC championship game. Most likely, unless you do something crazy in games coming up. But, hey, what's up, Cool Breeze? Another one of our members. Thank you for being a member, sir. Same to Pastor Dave. So whenever you've got a team that, and I can tell you from experience, this happened to Georgia last year. Whenever you think you got the world by the horns, you find out that that's not necessarily the case. Like last year, Georgia players and coaches, maybe not coaches, fans certainly, had all the confidence in the world in beating Alabama. Georgia goes out there and just absolutely falls apart. Yeah, my daughter has migraine. Playoff game tomorrow. Have y'all heard that audio of Kirby? I mean, that's what Kirby does. Kirby's an extremely passionate coach. Anybody that knows anything about Kirby knows that. There's been numerous audio clips of him that's been put out. Number one ranking is just a number that's still Tennessee. We just, oh, I see what you're saying. It's like number one rank is just a number. That's still Tennessee. We good. I got you. Give me a minute. The no commas in there. Got me. What's up, 225 girl? How you doing? Is the thing that I'm looking at is that whenever I'm trying to find reason to weigh in as to why Georgia could or would or should lose this game, and I'm struggling with it. And I understand that Tennessee fans have blinders on because it's the best their teams look. They're not used to winning, and that's not a slight. That's a fact. Fact. Any Tennessee fan will tell you they are not used to this kind of performance. You're in, you're out. Now, if you go back a couple, 2, 3 years ago, you will find a Kentucky team that looked extraordinarily dominant. Georgia rolled into Kentucky and shut them down. It wasn't even close. It was an absolute blowout. That's possible to happen. Not necessarily saying it's likely, but I'm saying it's certainly possible. As much as people want to give Tennessee credit for their offense, you should give, just to be fair, if you're a bystander, you got to look at Georgia's defense and go, wow, dude, that is an incredible defense. We all know that if Georgia goes down the field and plays football the way everybody else has done against Tennessee this season, they're going to get 30, 40 points, period. Unless they shoot themselves in the foot with 17 penalties and 130 yards and extend drives and get past interferences that screw up their own game. And if our fans all of a sudden decide to cheer for Tennessee, maybe that might help. There's so many factors in this game that are going to play in Georgia's favor. This is bad. This is bad for Tennessee. Tennessee may come out and win. What's up, Big Two? Tennessee may come out and win. They may come out and beat Georgia. But if you had to put money down right now, you had to put $1,000 that you don't have down on one team having the chance to blow out the other one, which one would you pick? Pretty sure you wouldn't pick Tennessee to blow Georgia out. Well, look at how Tennessee's defense came out and played against Kentucky. Sit down, it's Kentucky. Dogs win 45-24. Again, I think Georgia's gonna slow it down. I think we all know, looking at Georgia's stats, Georgia has the ability to answer a touchdown quickly if they want. They want. But Georgia's not gonna do that. Georgia wants to get up on the scoreboard. Tennessee's gonna see a first down defense like they've never seen. I was talking with Keith, and he thinks that what they try to do is they try to spread you out and they try to run slants and get to the corners, perimeters. Our corners have to play man to man and have to do well. That's true. That's true. The question is can you be that accurate all night against one of the very best defenses in all of college football? Don't tell me how fast y'all are. Georgia's got players on defense that run 4-3. So that's just the way that's going to be. What's going on, Mr. Keith?
Hey, how's it going?
What's going on, my man?
Sorry, a little late tonight.
Yeah, no worries, man. We're probably going to go for a minute or two tonight anyway, so it's all good.
Yeah, doing good. How y'all tonight?
I'm having a good time tonight. Danny B asked a question. It says, "Did Talking Vols ever let you on, Brett?" No, they didn't let me on. But they said that he said that they're going to be doing. He would have let me on today in the morning, but he had a sports writer that was going to be on, and so he said that he would, apologize. That he's like, "I'm sorry, that's not going to work. That's fine." He said, but tomorrow, about an hour before the game, they're going to have me on. So for those of you who don't know, here's what happened. I don't have notifications turned on for most people that make videos, and that includes Uncle Luke. That includes BVD. That includes Pigskin Pete, Celine Driver, Raj. I just don't have notifications turned on because I'm subscribed to so many constant content creators that my phone would go off 24/7. So I just don't have them turned on. That having been said, whatever happened between the trenches, I'll get to that in a minute. And so as I'm sitting here doing whatever I'm doing, I'm making a video or editing a video or doing whatever I'm doing, I will pull up YouTube and I will pop a video up. What's up, Alex MLD? I'll pop a video in the background and I'll just be listening to it. So when I do that, when I first pull up YouTube, it has a display screen of stuff that it recommends people that's live or whatever. So Talking Vols video was live. So the way my feed is set up, I have lives up to the top because I'd rather see live stuff first. And so I saw that, they said they were talking with Uncle Lou. So I clicked on it and they were talking back and forth and this, that, and the other. And they just said, we want to thank Uncle Lou for coming on, which is great. No problem. I didn't know Uncle Lou was going to be on there. Didn't know he was on there until after he had already left. I think he was still talking in the chat a little bit. So when I said hello into the chat, there were some people that said, hey, you guys should let BDB on the show. And so I was like, man, they guys ain't gonna let me on the show. They're scared to let me on the show. Trash talking. And so, they got 200 or 300, 400 people in there or whatever. So I'm talking smack in the chat. And as the chat's going by, somebody, because I'm getting a rise out of some of the Vols fans. Hey, what's going on, Brock? Hang on a second. So I'm getting a rise out of some of the Vols fans. So somebody said, well, they probably can't see your comment because there's so many people in here. You should do a super chat. And I'm like, all right, I'll do a $2 super chat. So I posted a $2 super chat and they got upset about me razzing people in the chat section. And I was just like, thought you guys wanted to talk smack, man. I didn't realize it was a problem. And so after that, BVD, who knows Boogie, messaged him while I was there, telling him, it was like, no, it's like, that's Big Dog Brett, and he's a cool dude, blah, blah, blah. So then Boogie's like, all right, fine, I'll give you a second chance. He goes, send me a DM on Twitter. So we've been talking back and forth on the DMs and trying to get it lined up. So tomorrow, an hour before the show, I'm probably going to be on their show. But again, to me, college football, half of the fun is talking smack and talking trash. Their channel's set up a little bit differently. Apparently, that's not the way they roll. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not. He also was offended because of your $2. Well, see, here's the thing. I didn't realize that they had like a minimum amount that they thought was worth reading. I don't know why $2 would be offensive. I think he was just trying to get back at me for me talking smack in the comment section. I don't think he was actually offended that I only tipped $2. I think that was just a way for him to spike the ball back at me. So I'm not mad about that. So, I mean, I'm not mad at the guy. It's his channel, man. He can do what he wants to with it. I will say that he was cordial enough to, keep the conversation going on Twitter and invite me on his show afterwards. So I'm not mad at the guy. I don't think he's mad at me. I just think it's college football. And we were just, messing around. I can see where some people would get upset about that, and I appreciate everybody that came to my defense. I really do, but I think he was just because I was razzing him. I feel like that was just a good way for him to razz me. I don't blame him a bit. I mean, it was actually kind of clever because it got quite a bit of attention, so it's fine. Brock, you keep jumping in and out, man. Come back in. Yeah, I mean, they want to defend their team, and that's fine. I can understand that, and I'm going to defend my team 100%. But as far as the this online, that okay. How else would you watch it? I mean, are you watching this in Morse code? Because I want to know how you're doing it. Got a TTY machine over there or something? What do they call it? The machine deaf people use?
Yeah, I was in there, Brett. Whenever you was I was trying to tell you had to send a super chat. And then when you sent it, I was like, well, damn, he asked for $10. I mean, what does it matter about the money, Crazy.
Well, here's the thing. So just so you guys know, and then I ain't scared to tell anybody this. I am
Yeah.
grateful. Anybody want to send me $1? I'm surprised people even show up and watch me. I'm just grateful anybody shows up to watch me. I'm not that, and that's not a slight at anybody else. That's just my own personal opinion. I take it as a compliment that people would spend their time with me. Time is the one commodity you can never get more of. So you want to spend
Right.
your time with me, I consider that to be a very humbling thing, and I appreciate everybody. Anybody wants to give me money, I'm certainly grateful of it.
Right.
But like I said, some people, they view things differently, and that's okay. That's their channel. That's fine. But when it comes to the donating money, just truthfully, just the way YouTube works. If you donate $10, I'm gonna get about 5. If you donate $2, I'm gonna get 1. So the difference really there is about $4.
Yeah.
First of all, I didn't know that there was a minimum.
Yeah.
Maybe that's
Who
on
did?
me.
I didn't either.
I don't know. No, I think that it was just a way for him to spike the ball back at me. I think he was just having a little bit of fun with it at my expense, and I can understand that. I'm on his channel talking smack, of course.
Yeah.
That's what you get. I mean, you jump on somebody else's channel. That was like me showing up at LeBron James practice and start talking smack and get dunked on. It's like, well, I kind of deserved it. Out there talking smack in his arena. So
That's true. Yeah.
And I can also understand some people. I can understand some people be like, man, you filthy rascal. Somebody give you money and you act like that. Oh, listen, it's $2, man. I mean, if I'd have walked up and I'd have handled LeBron James, and I'm not saying that talking Vols is LeBron James, I'm just saying for comparison purposes. If I was to throw $2 at LeBron James, be like, hey, talk to me. LeBron James be like, man, kiss my, you know what? Hey, keep your $2, you cheap bastard. I mean, that's just the way that conversation would go. So, I mean, I'm not mad about it.
Nah.
I mean, you have two choices in life. You can react to something or you can respond to something. I'm not going to react. I'm going to respond. So I think you can go back and see it. It's on Talking Vols. I think it was a Wednesday night or something. I don't know. James Burks keeps asking me what happened to Trenches. So I won't say it's not my place to say. I won't say that. I will say that Trenches has become a very busy person in his personal life, and so he doesn't get to spend as much time maybe making videos and doing as much as he did. And he is chosen to step back a little bit and do some other things. I mean, he's still around, still see it from time to time, but he's just busy. He just doesn't want to get wrapped up in all the stuff that goes on in the YouTube community, and it's what it is. So, but yeah. Alex MLD says Tennessee fans got to pay trailer rent. Well, if that's the case, I mean, if that was the case, $2 would have been greatly appreciated. I thought. I didn't know trailer rent got so expensive. Pastor Dave says, "Shut the front door." I appreciate what you do. I appreciate what I do too. I mean, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you. Let's see. Alex MLD said, "Love you defending G on Salem stream the other day." Who's G? Who was I defending?
I think he's talking about the G, like Georgia, maybe.
Oh, defending the G? I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah. Why would I do that, right? So, Brock, I want to get your take on this game. You guys already played. Tennessee.
Yeah.
What is your take?
This is my take. I think if Georgia, I think y'all gonna rely on more of the run game. I do think Georgia's gonna have a lot of success running the ball from Tennessee because I know Alabama had success. So why wouldn't Georgia? So I feel like y'all's running game is gonna be good against them, and because their defense is not that great. Their defense gives up like 400, 300 something yards, something like that. Forgot what it was. I know before we played them, they was giving up 400 yards. So, yeah. But I do think you got to get pressure on Hendon Hooker because I mean, you don't have to get a sack on them. Just pressure them. We couldn't get pressure. If y'all get pressure on them, you can force him to make bad throws. You can force him, you know.
Yeah, I think Alabama just. I think one of the things, speaking of what you're talking about, Brock, I think Alabama was kind of stubborn on how they decided to cover, because I mean they were trying those combo.
They tried to defend the pass, man.
Yeah,
and
they stuck with it.
Yeah.
Those combo zones and stuff, and it just did not work. And
Nope.
and Saban was just stubborn. He did not want to switch up and try manning those guys. And I think Georgia's going to have to do that. I mean, that's what Tennessee is going to do. I mean, they put their receivers on each sideline and force the safeties to cover a huge amount of field. And
they're going to move. They're going to move Hyatt around. Yeah, that's what they do. They're going to try to confuse Georgia's defense.
If Georgia can stop the run, I mean, that's one of the biggest things. You hear a lot of people talking about it over the past couple of days, but Tennessee, I mean, everything they do is kind of predicated on running the ball. They stretch the field with their
they run the ball more than
they force those safeties to cover so much field, and then as soon as you start, as soon as they start running the ball, it opens up those receivers to run deep, and it confuses the safeties. And so Georgia's going to have to be disciplined. They're going to have to be disciplined, and if we can stop the run, which we've been able to do, and turn them into one-dimensional, even if it is passing the ball. Tennessee being one-dimensional passing the ball, I mean, that's still a good thing.
Georgia's a disciplined team. I mean, they lead and less penalties. I mean,
yeah,
you guys were.
Well, one of the things that I've been looking at is if you go back and you look at Tennessee, when they start a drive, they almost always start with a pass play.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They almost always start with a pass play. So if you go back and you look at all of their drives, at the very beginning of the game, Hendon Hooker pass incomplete to Jalen Hyatt. Their next drive, they start out Hendon Hooker pass complete to Ramel Keaton. Second drive, Jalen Wright run for no gain, and then immediately right after that, 2nd and 10, pass to Brew McCoy. Next drive, Hendon Hooker pass complete to Ramel Keaton. Next drive, Hendon Hooker ran for 8 yards. Jamari ran for 8 yards, pass incomplete, and then, so they got a first down off that, and then very after that they went back to the pass. They really like to pass on first down.
I think, don't get me wrong, I know this may sound like a slight at Hendon Hooker. Don't get me wrong, that he is an accurate passer, and that's kind of what their offense relies on. But their offense is a scheme entirely.
Hey, Bob.
You look at how they stretch the field, look at how they double stack their receivers. They'll have one receiver standing behind the other one, and all that, everything they do is designed to confuse the secondary so if you go back and look at
they run tempo games, like crazy, man.
Go back and look at Tennessee's games and pay attention to how many times Hooker hits a receiver that doesn't have anybody within 5 to 10 yards of him. It's most of his completions are to receivers that are not even covered. They're essentially, they have the huge cushion. Now, don't get me wrong, there's sometimes where he'll put something in there, but most of the time their chunk plays are to receivers that are wide open. And so it's like, yes, Hendon Hooker does have to be accurate to make that pass, but their offense is all schemed to get their receivers running wide open in space. And so,
I think Georgia experienced some pains with that a few weeks back. Whenever we played Missouri had multiple wide receivers that would end up wide open. Believe it or not, some of their plays are extraordinarily similar to what Tennessee can and is doing. Georgia made those adjustments, and then it's pretty much stopped. So the thing that I'm looking at is that this Georgia defense, if Georgia gives up more points than they've given up all season, plus 10, that's 32 points. That's the worst performance Georgia would have had all season. Let's be argumentative and say they get 35. Okay, 35 points. Does anybody here think that Georgia can't get 35 points against Tennessee?
Well, that's another thing too. Is it's like
Georgia. I think certainly y'all can get 35 points. I mean,
Georgia's
Yeah,
the
no doubt.
second. Georgia's the second best offense in the country. So I mean, if you think about, everybody talks about Georgia doesn't want to get in a shootout with Tennessee. Well, what does a shootout look like? I mean, if we get into a shootout with Tennessee, our defense is going to get a stop here and there, but our offense can score just as often as they can. I mean, their drives are faster. Don't get me wrong, but we're scoring.
But you gotta stay in
as they
front
are.
of Tennessee. This is the thing, though. This is the big takeaway to me. You gotta stay in front of Tennessee because they're gonna come out and try to score. They're gonna try to come out and score on Georgia like they did Alabama, because that's just what they do. They try to tempo it up, run fast, and try to get in the in the end zone. But my thing is, if Tennessee get up by a score or two, it's gonna be tough to come back, man. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen.
I hear people say that, and like I agree with the logic of it, that Georgia's not this fast scoring team.
Yeah,
but, I mean, at the same time, though, they do have a defense that tends to get people off the field, and Tennessee is a team that if they're not having success, their drives are over quick. So I mean, you go out there and throw three incomplete passes, and then you're off the field.
You can't give them a possession neither. You don't need to give them any.
Yeah. I think I agree with that. I think turnovers in a game like this, you look at turnovers of special teams play, right? Those are things that are going to be huge in this game.
Yeah, that's who needs a blocked
field
game.
goal. Yeah, I see a blocked field goal or a blocked punt or something crazy like that making a huge difference in this game.
So let's go back. Let's go back.
Turnovers.
Let's talk about the Tennessee Alabama game right now, real quick.
Mm-hmm.
There's some things I want to point out. Now, yes, the game did start out. The game did start out, and it was kind of even, right?
Right.
Well, at the beginning, one of the things that really jumps off at you too is two of Alabama's first three drives started basically with them with their feet on the goal line because of penalties. I mean, they started.
Oh, we was in their goal line. They had us wait. In the end zone.
Tennessee, Alabama, because of penalties, Alabama had to punt from their own end zone. So Tennessee's second possession, I think they got in plus territory. They were on the 40-yard line when they received
they were
the punt.
already in scoring position, man.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that was all based off of penalties. They had a first down return back for a penalty. So that was.
Penalties.
Alabama set Tennessee up well to be up 21-7.
Yeah, and the problem that really happened for me was whenever before the half, Tennessee scored 28 points. 7 of those points came off of that muff punt ridiculousness that happened, right?
Stupidity. That's what I call it. Stupidity.
Yeah, every middle school football coach was losing his mind when that happened, and I'm just being 100% honest. If that one player doesn't touch that ball, Tennessee wins that game.
Alabama, you mean?
Yeah, if the Alabama player didn't touch that ball, Alabama wins that game. Excuse me. Yeah, I got myself turned around. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Alabama touches the ball, and Tennessee picks it up and immediately scores a touchdown.
There's a lot of
painful.
Yeah, there's just a lot of weird things in that game when you go back and watch it. Even the final drive when Alabama was going down there to kick the game, the game-winning field goal that they missed, they were snapping the ball with 20 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, but Jahmyr Gibbs, he dropped a pass where
he did drop.
If he would have caught that ball, we would have probably won that game.
But it was just so odd going down there. It was like a minute and a half left. They needed about 15 or so yards to get in a field goal range, and they got a running clock, and they're snapping the ball with like 18 and 20 seconds left on the clock, and it's like there's absolutely no reason they shouldn't have been kicking that field goal with that being the last play of the game or regulation, anyways. And so,
do me a favor, guys. There's about 80 of us in here. We only got about 39 or so thumbs up. Let's see if we can get that to around 50. I appreciate it, guys.
It was just crazy that they allowed time to remain on the clock there. They threw income on the last possession there. They threw a couple of incomplete passes rather than run the ball and at least force Tennessee to use timeouts.
Yep.
But I mean, it was so wild. I added up in that final drive the time that they left on a running clock that they could have run down, and it was almost a minute and a half. And keep in mind, they gave Tennessee the ball back with 20 seconds left. They're in Tennessee, and I think Tennessee had 2 timeouts too.
I can say one thing. We was down 28-6 or 7, and we did come back.
Yeah.
But we just couldn't come back for them penalties.
And I mean, and that was in Neyland Stadium too. So I mean, that was Alabama did everything they could do to lose that game.
Alabama has the potential to play against anybody, but they just not disciplined, man.
Exactly. I mean, they had like 13, 15, 17 penalties in that game for like 130 or 40 yards or something.
130 yards.
Yeah, it was unbelievable. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Alabama did everything they could to lose that game. Tennessee did everything they could to win that game, and it still took a missed field goal.
Red Cap is in there saying Kent State laughing out loud. Georgia committed 3 turnovers and still won that game, sir. What was y'all excuse for only beating Florida by 5? Why did y'all have to go to overtime to beat Pitt? I need some answers for that. I mean, I understand the whole Kent State thing because that's all you got. That's the only drum you got to beat on. But you need
everybody
to take things
has
into
their
consideration.
struggles, man. I mean, don't come in here clowning, man, because you might be the one that's crying. Whoever that kid is in the comments, you might be crying tomorrow when Georgia whoops your ass.
You got that 1998 MS.
It's also sure. I'm also sure that all of Georgia's players woke up really excited to go play against Kent State.
Yeah, big difference.
And don't get me wrong.
I was heard I really think they're like drunk or something.
Yeah.
Or probably have hungover.
Read that one for me there, Brock.
Tennessee from 2008 to 2021. Damn.
He's like Missouri laughing out loud. This is Red Cat's first time. I think it's his first time on the channel, and I think it's also the first time.
He's probably about 15
being part of a winning Tennessee team.
He might be a young kid, man.
Yeah, sorry though. Hold on. Tennessee been losing to lesser than Kent State for 20 years.
Hey, ask him why the hell did Alabama beat his ass for 15 years straight?
Yeah. Answer me this. You ever heard of a team called Georgia Southern?
Yeah.
The team called Georgia Tech beat that Pitt team that took Tennessee to overtime.
Yeah, that is correct.
Damn.
Florida and Pitt were ranked, and that gets kids up, just saying. Were ranked. Listen, I'm not saying Tennessee doesn't have a good ball club, but I'm going to tell you right now, if you don't think Kirby Smart, what's up, Genesis? If you don't think Kirby Smart went in that locker room and pointed directly at that college football playoff committee ranking and went, see, that's exactly what they think of you. That was the worst thing that could have happened to Tennessee, was that Georgia came out ranked anything less than number 1, because all that did was pour gasoline on a fire. Because you guys are the reigning national championships. You're blowing people out. You're shutting people out. And because of a couple of bad games, you guys are getting completely disrespected. Now's your opportunity to go out there and wipe your cleats.
27 quarters since the last 30-yard pass play for UGA. Huh? Did we have multiple 30-plus pass plays? And, I mean, the Brock Bowers touchdown was more than 30 yards in the Florida game just 6 days ago.
Sometimes these people make me scratch my head.
I'm gonna say Brock Bowers has had multiple 70-yard pass touchdowns in the past.
This isn't even a stat.
Brock Bowers was number 1 tight end in college football.
So here's what I'm going to do. So let's go. Let's go to the last game we played in, which is Florida, right? Team stats. Stetson Bennett.
Doesn't Stetson Bennett
against
have more
Florida
passing yards than Kenneth Hooker on the year? I think he
passing yards. Here we go. 316 yards in that game. He only threw for 50% in that game, and he still threw for 316 yards. And his long, isn't the long typically the one that they say is the longest pass play? Yes, I believe it is. That would be 73 yards. That was the last game we played in, sir.
And see, Georgia has another thing too. Georgia has played in national championships, SEC championships, and Tennessee hasn't. So it's not like Georgia hasn't never played in a big game. So that's an advantage, in my opinion.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I think Tennessee has. I do think Tennessee has a good team. Don't get me wrong. I think this game should be.
Yeah, I mean,
on
they got
paper
a
should be a
shot,
good
man.
game.
They got a shot, but
I do think
I'm not
Tennessee
gonna
is.
say.
I
Hold
think
on.
Tennessee is getting a lot of credit for beating an Alabama team that is historically undisciplined. I mean, you just
Hey.
go back and look at the Texas game.
Hold on, guys. So
That's why
I
they're
just
ranked number one.
Absolutely.
here's what I'm going to do. Let me pull up something here real quick. Let me go to present, share screen, Chrome tab, Stetson Bennett game by game performance, and then I'm going to move us out of the way, guys, so everybody can get a good view of this. You can see right here where it says long. That's the longest pass he made for that game. So the Florida game was 73, a 34 against Vanderbilt, a 24 against Auburn, a 33 against Missouri, a 23 against Kent, 78 against South Carolina, 37 against Samford, and 38 or 36. I can't really quite tell.
I think he's
So he's
referring
only
to-
had 2 games this season, sir.
This guy
where
is
he did
actually
not hit a
pointing out-
30-yard plus pass.
He's pointing out 30 yards ball in the air. So, I mean, that's just not what Georgia does. I mean, they don't have to.
I mean, Georgia don't pass deep like that all the time.
AD
Like,
Mitchell, our deep threat receivers are hurt, man. AD Mitchell, Arian Smith are both hurt. We're not going to be throwing the ball down the field like that. And we don't need to. When you got
I was going
Darnell,
to say we don't need to.
you got
Georgia
Darnell
doesn't
and
need to.
Brock and these guys. I mean, we're going to dump it short and let those guys run over people.
screen
That's
pass,
just what we
man.
do.
That's it. Like screen
Hold on.
passes.
This guy right here gets a star. This is exactly what you Tennessee fans should be doing. The fact we're even in the discussion and have a chance is amazing to me. I'm used to us losing. I know how to cope with a loss. I'm just glad we're headed in the right direction after all the years. That is exactly what y'all should be doing.
That's the right kind of attitude, Josh.
And I agree 100%. I mean, I remember us talking about this last year. I mean, we even talked
Dude,
about
he's not shit talking or nothing. He's just being honest. He's thankful for the opportunity to play Georgia. Shit. Come on, man.
I mean, if you're Kent State and you're looking up at Georgia, you're pretty sure you're going to give them your best shot, but you're pretty sure you're finna get killed. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
At least Tennessee can walk into the stadium and go, we got a good chance. We got a good chance of anybody. Right?
Yep.
And a couple of years ago, that ain't what Tennessee fans were saying. Tennessee fans were saying ahead of time, look, Brett, I know after y'all kill us this Friday or this Saturday, excuse me, just don't beat us up too bad. Okay. Cool. And now it's like we gonna kick your teeth in.
Big headed. They big headed.
You can tell some of these fans ain't used to winning, man.
No.
The same crowd want to pick out games apart is the same crowd that wouldn't shut up about everyone we lost. They run it both ways. I think there's a lot of players on the Georgia's defense. We kind of have that no-name defense again. That if you're not a Georgia fan and you don't watch closely, you don't understand what's there. There's a lot of
talent. Yeah.
A lot of talent back there.
Jalen Carter's going to be playing full time in this game. So I mean,
so.
Oh, Small Monday, man. He's yeah.
That guy's a ball hawk, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And
Michael Williams. I like Michael Williams too.
Brian Scott. No, we ain't sensitive, man. We just trash talking back and forth, dude. Please feel free to jump in and say anything. I don't want you to feel like anybody's attacking you. We like to mix it up over here. You know, I may tell you, I think burnt orange looks like something my daughter got yesterday. That's just what goes around the wheelhouse here.
Man, that's what we do, man.
Feel free to throw it back at us, man. Feel free to throw it back at us, man.
Shit, Alabama fans trash talk Georgia. Georgia fans trash talk Alabama. I mean, shit, we do it all the time.
Yeah, that's like
But at
Red
the end
Cap.
of the
You know,
day, it's just a game, bro.
it's like Red Cap. He's still throwing punches, man, and I respect it. I don't block anybody from my channel for talking smack.
Nope.
The stuff that'll get you kicked out of my channel is the same stuff that'll get you kicked out of every channel, no matter what they say, which is, racist stuff, political stuff, all the stuff that breaks us up. I've said it one time, I'll say it a million times. I like college football because it brings everybody together, every color, race, creed, background, religion, political decision, whatever it is. Nobody cares from that kickoff until that final buzzer. Nobody cares. Nope. That's what I love about college football. To me, I love it when people get in here and talk smack. To me, that's what makes it exciting. If everybody got in here and said, rah, Georgia's great, well, okay, but that's not very exciting. I get 4 or 5 people in here that they say, well, Tennessee this. Well, it gives me something to say back.
Yeah.
Like this, just trash talk. We're all fans, and guess what? We're proud of the SEC. Proud. There you go. SEC football. I don't know how you got that name, sir, but I guarantee you somebody's gonna come fuss at you about it. I started being a Tennessee fan in 2014. When I was 12, I grew up watching Tennessee losing to Vandy years in a row and losing to Georgia State. Glad to be here. If we lose tomorrow, it's still a good team. That is absolutely correct. If Tennessee loses tomorrow, this is the best football team they will probably have had in what? 10 years?
No.
15 years?
Probably 15. 20.
Yeah.
Long time coming.
If Tennessee built the SEC, we tore it down and built it in our image. That is an accurate statement. 20,000 fans in that dump y'all call a stadium tomorrow. Sir, you don't even want to have this conversation. You clearly, number one, you've never been to Sanford Stadium. You may have been to Crocky Top, but you ain't never been to Sanford Stadium. That place has been overhauled. They got a jumbotron.
That place is going to be packed out. And you know who's the game pick, right, for the College Game Day?
Who?
Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be Georgia.
Yo, he's a Georgia. He's from Georgia.
He's huge,
yeah, he's a Georgia fan too. So, by the way, I just want to point out one thing: the jumbotron that Georgia has is bigger. I got to put it in terms that Red Cap can understand, and I grew up in one, so I can say this. That jumbotron is as big as 4 or 5 of y'all's biggest trailer parks. It just
is. Brett's playing with him, boy.
Oh, you know what? This is a good one, though. I got to give him this. They changing the name to Sanford and Son Stadium.
Dang.
That's a good clapback right there. I like that one. That's good stuff. That's pretty good. What's it say?
Do you see Kanye
is right, man.
Is right. Man.
No, I didn't see that. I don't really keep up with Kanye or Elon or any of those guys.
I'm gonna be up in the morning, watch the College Game Day, be fired up about 7:30 in the morning. I get on there, watch it.
Yeah, you do that.
Every weekend.
I'm gonna be sleeping.
Sleeping.
Man, I got 4 kids, man. I can sleep standing up talking to you. I'm gonna sleep right now.
4 kids, man. Tough. Dang.
So Brock, what do you think the score is gonna be, man?
Well, I think Georgia gonna win it just because I'm gonna tell you why I think Georgia wins is because they have experience. Like they have more experience in big games, and they know how to Kirby, man. I can't go against Kirby, man, because what he did at Alabama with Nick Saban, I don't think nobody else could do it. I don't think nobody else could take his spot. And so I think they win by a touchdown. I think
they win by 10.
Yeah, at least 7 to 10 points.
I think that because the original line that came out from Vegas was 10, 11 points. And then the line got bought down.
Right.
And so now you got all these people that they still think Georgia's going to win because the vast majority of the bets is,
Oh yeah.
People come out betting, they're giving Tennessee 10, 11 points. People just buying it. I think they had that number right.
And
if
Georgia, I'm telling you,
look,
Georgia's going to be hard to beat for Tennessee. It's just going to be tough on them. And like, I don't think they played a road game this big in probably a long time. So, it's going to be tough.
This will be the biggest stage that Hendon Hooker has ever stepped on. This will be the best defense he's ever played, and this will be the loudest stadium he's ever played in.
Georgia's played.
Yeah. It's going to be bonkers, man.
Georgia's played two defenses, at least two defenses that I can think of off the top of my head that are statistically better than Tennessee's, and that's South Carolina and Oregon. And so you can look at what we've done against those teams. We've played a team that's in the top 3 offense in the country, Oregon. You see what happened to that team. So the number 3 offense in the country scored 3 points. The number, whatever their defense is, higher ranked than Tennessee, Oregon defense held Georgia to 49. South Carolina's higher ranked defense, which is like number 50 in the country, higher than Tennessee. I think Tennessee's ranked like 80. South Carolina's defense held us to what? I don't even have the score in front of me. We scored like 50 points on them or something crazy?
Yeah.
On South Carolina.
I'm going to go 41-30. I'm going to go 41-31.
My score was going to be 40-30. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think it'll get to there because I think that Georgia is going to do what Georgia does in big games, and they're going to slow it down. I really think that. And here's the thing is that people say Georgia has to run the ball. Georgia does not have to run the ball, and let me explain why. Because Georgia is so good out of the backfield. These things that are called passes that really aren't passes. It's like a little bloop to the wide receiver. I mean to the tight end or to the running back right there at the edge. Technically, it's a pass, but it's not beyond the line of scrimmage hardly. So those little passes like that. Who on? Somebody tell me this. We ain't talked about this. Somebody tell me this. Who on Tennessee's defense can match up with Brock Bowers or Darnell Washington? Nobody. Now, put them both out there at the same time. Now what you got? You got a big problem. That's what you got. And so when Georgia needs 2, 3, 4, 5 yards to pick up a first down, they're going to hand it to one of those guys. And Georgia's offensive line is going to get pushed. Georgia's got pushed all year. Alabama was getting pushed.
Yep.
So when you got those big guys and they push for 3 or 4 or 5 yards and they run the clock, good luck. Good luck.
And Georgia's good about pushing their running backs too, so easy.
Even if Tennessee puts 7 in the box, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Stetson Bennett is not going to try to throw for 50 passes in this game. I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They're going to stack Brock Bowers and they're going to stack Darnell Washington on one side, and that's going to force those linebackers to come over because no one cornerback is going to tackle that guy. Brock Bowers would drag that son of a gun 35 yards and then push him off.
They're not going to do that anyways. I mean, the one thing people are talking about,
it takes the whole team to bring Brock Bowers down.
Georgia has passed the ball more than Tennessee has, and Tennessee's run the ball more than Georgia has this year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this game is just not what people think. Georgia is going to throw the
Darnell Washington.
Georgia
don't go down at all. It takes a lot.
Going to throw the ball against Tennessee. It's going to happen. Now, yes, we're not going to throw it 50 yards through the air for a 80-yard touchdown. We're going to throw it, 5 or 10
probably
yards
30
to our guy, to our 6'8", 350-pound or whatever tight ends, and let them just run over people. We don't have to throw it that deep. So I mean, Georgia is going to throw the ball. Tennessee's going to throw the ball. We're both going to run the ball, but both teams are going to have some success doing it. The question that I have is each team's offense is a wash to me. Yeah, Hendon Hooker can throw the ball. He's accurate. Don't get me wrong. And they scheme.
Oh, he's got a beautiful throw now.
Georgia scores points too. I mean, these two offenses are pretty evenly matched as far. They do it different ways, But as far as getting the job done, they're evenly matched. Their defenses, however, are not even in the same hemisphere.
Let me
Yeah.
ask you a question.
So-
Let me ask you a question right here. If I told you tomorrow that Tennessee, Hendon Hooker throws for, let's just say 70%. He throws for
Right.
244 yards. Do you think he would beat Georgia?
For how much?
Let's say
200
he 24 completions, 240 yards. That's about 10 yards a catch. That's a total. Let's say they get a few stuff here and there. Let's just say they get 300 yards in passing. You think they beat Georgia?
I mean, I don't know.
Okay, let's say that Stetson goes out tomorrow and he throws 17 for 30. Just a little bit over 50%. He gets 200 yards. Think Georgia wins?
200.
Because let me explain to you why I'm saying that. Because last year, Hendon Hooker threw for 24 for 37, 244 yards. Stetson Bennett threw for 17 of 29 for 213 yards, and Georgia absolutely blew them out 41-17.
Damn.
Well,
Tennessee threw for 332 yards last year and got blown out by Georgia.
here's another thing to think about too is look at the teams in the top, or look at the top ranked teams that have a loss, and look at how many of them are on the road.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, that is a huge thing. I know people are talking about. I'm not saying people aren't talking about this, but to go on the road and to win a game like that is tough. So I mean, it's not very often that the home team loses the
what
game.
Alabama's up against is tough.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you go back and look at the top. I mean, and look, I think the line has moved up to 9 now. So I mean, Vegas knows these things too. I mean, these guys are professionals that make these lines. And one of the huge things, if you go and look at the rankings right now, right? So you look at the top. Alabama is the highest ranked 1-loss team. They lost on the road at Tennessee.
Stadium, yeah.
Oregon, that was a road game. Whatever you want to say it. They came to Atlanta, lost. USC, the next highest ranked 1-loss team, lost at Utah. And then you get LSU. They lost at home against Tennessee. But then Ole Miss, their loss at LSU. And then you go down. I mean, you just keep going. These teams, the teams that have losses at a high percentage, are on the road.
So absolutely.
Top 10 teams is basically what I'm saying. To come into a top 10 team and to beat them on the road, no matter how good you are, a top 10 matchup, the home team has a massive advantage in college football.
So I want to ask Archangel a question here, because I don't think he really knows. 3 plus 7 is 10, plus 22 is 32, plus 20 is 42, 44, 50, 64 points. All right. 64 points across 7 games, across 20. So 84 points across 8 games. Anybody want to do the math for that?
I mean, Georgia's points per game, they're averaging like 10.1.
10.25. You're absolutely right. This Georgia defense doesn't compare to the 8-point-a-game defense that we had last year. It's not even close. Not even close. You're absolutely correct. How could a 10-point-a-game defense come close to comparing to an 8-point-a-game defense? I don't understand why I even brought that up. That just makes me look absolutely ridiculous. Brock, would you say that a team that allows 10 points per game on average can't compete with a team that allows 8 points per game on average?
Hell no, I wouldn't say that. Because first of all, Kirby's gonna have a good defense no matter what, man. That's just bottom line of that. But the first, come on now. I mean, I thought, I'm gonna be honest, I thought myself Georgia was gonna have a little a little problem on defense this year, but that's not the case. It's not. It's not. They have a top 5 defense right now in the country. So there it is.
Hey, Archangel, you're absolutely right. Georgia does not have 7 first-round defensive players this year. You're right. But the reason we don't is because you're required to stay for at least 3 years in college.
Yeah.
Most of these guys are sophomores and freshmen.
None of these guys, right. they gotta get more, reps and stuff, man. They just can't just go first round and the first year. Come on.
Now I'm gonna throw it right back in your lap, Archangel. Last year, 8 games into the season, nobody thought Georgia had 7 first-rounders on their team either.
Yeah, so I was gonna say this time last year, Georgia didn't have 7 first-rounders either.
Yeah, so I understand what you're saying. Do we have a Jordan Davis? No. Do we have an Azeez Ojulari? No, we don't have those guys. But we didn't really start noticing those guys until we started getting deeper into the season. Does Georgia have an elite defense? Absolutely. That's all we need to worry about. If they're scoring, I'll go back to what JT Daniels said last year. He goes, you know what? If we only got to score 10 points to win a game because our defense will hold them to 3, I'm perfectly fine with that. And I am too. So what I think is going to happen is I think that there is a possibility that Georgia loses. There's a possibility that and there's a possibility that Tennessee gets embarrassed and blown out.
Yeah. I mean,
and here's what it takes. It takes Georgia stopping Tennessee about 3 times for that to happen. That's all it takes. Not only is Georgia incredibly good on first down defense, not only is Georgia one, and these are stats. You can go back and watch the beginning of the show, and you can show. I'll pull them up and show them. Georgia's one of the very best in the country in red zone defense. One of the very best in the country against rushing. One of the very best in the country against passing. One of the very best in the country against first downs. So when you come out on first down, that's going to hurt you. We haven't even talked about Georgia's offense. If Georgia had an equal defense to Tennessee, then it would be a coin flip. I would say that Tennessee had the advantage.
But it's nowhere near close. It's not.
There is such a glaring difference. There is such a glaring difference between the two teams' defenses. I don't even know why we have to have this conversation.
Ain't their defense like 70-something or 80?
It's 80.
What's that?
Their defense.
81st.
Total defense is 80. Yeah.
The best team that they have played defense-wise, I believe, was Alabama, and y'all are 34th. And that was before y'all played them. Yep. So you're not playing the 34th, the 30th, or even the 25th. We're not even talking about just the top 20 defense. We're talking about top 3 in the country. And as we have all said time and time again, there is a big gap between 1, 2, 3, and 4 and the rest of the field.
I just, I don't know. I think
that's
Tennessee
just for Kirby Smart defense, man. I mean, it's the way it is.
There's another thing that we've all kind of ignored, and nobody is really thrown out there.
Mm-hmm.
But you touched on it earlier. What are they going to do if Georgia decides to make Stetson Bennett a real part of the game with his feet?
Woo-hoo. Yeah, that's a problem. Because Stetson can fly.
That boy got some wheels on him.
Yeah, he does.
Now, I'm not saying Stetson Bennett is a Heisman winner. I'm not that guy. I'm not even close to saying that. What I will tell you, though, is Stetson Bennett is hard to tackle. Stetson Bennett is experienced. Stetson Bennett knows how to move out of the way, and we have a pretty good offensive line. So Michael Wolff is letting us know that the Vols have the number 1 offense in the country. I didn't know that, sir. Let me rethink my whole theory here. Stetson DoorDash Bennett.
DoorDash.
I'm not hanging my hat, and I guess that's what you meant to say instead of handing their hat. I'm not hanging my hat on Stetson Bennett. What I'm saying is that Georgia's offense is extremely dynamic.
Georgia fans don't have to hang their hat on Stetson Bennett. Trust me. If we had to hang our hat on Stetson Bennett, we wouldn't have won a national championship.
Georgia's second in total offense behind Tennessee.
Now, Tennessee has to hang their hat on Hendon Hooker 100%.
That is correct. All of the pressure
Well,
in
if
this
he
game
has a
is
bad
on
game,
Hendon Hooker.
if Hendon Hooker has a bad game, Tennessee loses the game.
Badly.
That is, I mean, if you want to talk about hanging your hat on somebody, if Hendon Hooker goes out there and does not have a great game, Tennessee loses the game. Stetson Bennett does not have to have a great game for Georgia to win.
This is so easy to prove. If I told you as a Georgia fan that tomorrow Stetson Bennett's going to go out and throw around 50%, you would say, we can still win that game. You would, because we have. Now, if I told you that tomorrow Hendon Hooker's going to go out there and he's going to throw for 50%, what would you say about Tennessee?
Your backup quarterback's better than Stetson. Okay. He doesn't have to be better than Stetson. Both your quarterbacks are probably better than Stetson. Nobody's making an argument.
Yeah, I'm not saying
you have to be better than Stetson.
No, but I'll tell you what. Don't just.
You don't think Bryce Young was better
not
than
the
Stetson?
greatest, but he's not. He's like the best walk-on that I've seen in college football. So
he's the only walk-on that I've ever seen win a national title.
Yep, there you go. Man.
Ulysses says they don't have to hang their hat on Hendo. Oh, DDP is asking for the link. Sorry about that, man. Appreciate the super chat though. You had to do that to get my attention, but there's 117 people in here. It's hard to keep up with.
Oh damn! They flooding it out, ain't they? Tennessee fans flooding it out.
Bryce played out of his mind. That's the only reason Bama was in the game. Bryce is a dog, Stetson. No. Bryce Young played a great game. The reason Bama was in that game, if you want to put it on one person, was Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs was really destroying
the reason Tennessee was in that game was because Alabama played terribly.
And we partially blocked your field goal. It just barely went through. So, I mean, a knuckleball field goal, you barely won. So,
I want you to know that completing 67% of your passes and throwing for 450 yards makes you a dog of a quarterback. I just want you to know that, Bryce Young, Heisman winner. All right, let me add in DDP. Let's add in Reamer Dog.
Hey, what's happening, dog?
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, man, I got like notification that you were live like late. Like, I don't know what's up with that, but
give me your phone number and I'll text you next time.
Dude, I don't know, man. It's YouTube, bro.
YouTube's bad, man. It's like I've got people that's told me that I don't know how many times.
Bro, because I literally called
you. The notification.
Yeah, because I actually went to your channel and kept refreshing, looking for when your live started, and then all of a sudden I was like, okay, maybe he's not doing it.
Yeah, this live's been going since before 9 o'clock.
Yeah, well, dude, I know. I mean, it's like I hate I'm getting in late. I appreciate you letting me get in.
And that's exactly why I need you guys to hit the thumbs up. There's about 110 of y'all in here. I think we're around the 65 mark or something. Let's see if we can get that up closer to 80, guys. I appreciate it. That's the thing that defeats the YouTube algorithm is that thumbs up. I don't know why. It's so hard to do. How many ranked wins does Georgia have this season, last season, in the history? How many do you need?
You're right.
I will tell you right now. I would take. Let me go back on screen here. I'll pull up.
It's more than Tennessee over the last 20 years.
Well, how many national championships has Tennessee won in the last 20 years?
Thank you. I know it sounds like you got some Tennessee guys in the room.
That's okay, man.
Y'all come on up and talk to us if y'all want. If y'all want
Hey, I just want to know.
Don't hide behind the comments and type like Uncle Lou say. Hey, type.
No,
so let me throw this out there for you guys. I would take right now. You can get mad about it if you want to. I would take the one ranked team that Georgia's beat, Oregon, over any of the ranked teams that Tennessee's played.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, I 100% believe Oregon would smoke all of them and give Alabama a run for their money. I'm telling you.
I agree. Yeah.
Right. Hey, I did want to ask this question. That's why I hate that I got in late. Maybe you covered it. But Tuesday night, any of the Tennessee guys that are in here right now, were y'all part of the group that went over and tore down the goalposts after the Tuesday night rankings came out?
Hey,
that's the news I got. That's the news I got.
And also, if you were one of those fans, did you contribute to the colleges begging for their GoFundMe to fix their goalpost?
Hey,
nah,
that was Tennessee's national championship, by the way. They
when y'all got ranked number one? No, I'm not talking about when you beat Alabama. I'm talking about when the rankings came out Tuesday night. I heard the Tennessee fans went to Neyland and tore the goalpost down again.
Oh, they turned it down again.
For real?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
They did it again.
I'm bullshitting. I'm bullshitting.
That was a good one.
Saying, yeah.
I'm over here looking like, what the hell?
Why would they do it championship? That was their national championship when they got ranked number one in the first playoff rankings.
They threw it in the Tennessee River, I heard.
Bro, I don't get that at all.
Oh,
I know
Kevin
you put somewhere, but
Kevin Hackshaw, excuse me.
If it meant that much to beat Alabama, then shit, do it again. Then fuck.
I get storming the field and tearing the post down. I've been a part of that.
God dang.
But
that goes to show me what Alabama.
Here, I will say this, Brad, like you were saying about Oregon. Nobody's taking anything away from what Tennessee has done offensively. But the word that I keep hearing thrown out, and this is from Herb Street and the other guys I don't necessarily care about, right? But they got a job to do. As I keep hearing the word, they're the most impressive team in college football right now. And my question is, really? And I mean this, and again, I'm not taking anything away from the production they've done, but it took 2 overtime wins to beat Pitt at Pitt with a one-legged backup quarterback, right? Alabama, was that really an impressive win? Yeah, Alabama is Alabama. I will not take the joy out of Tennessee for that.
But guess what? They were up 28-6 on us, and we came back and took the lead, and then they tied it back up, and then we took the lead again, and then they won it by a field goal.
I'm not taking that. No, I'm not taking that away. But I'm just saying it took a missed field goal on Alabama and poor play calling, plus turnovers or whatever. Yep. Again, I tell you, the best win that I saw, because Kentucky's trash as far as I'm concerned. Your best win was LSU at LSU.
I don't even think Florida, I don't think you can count the Alabama win as a Alabama win. I think they have to share that with Alabama.
True.
Yeah.
They had 17 penalties.
Right.
And we still almost pulled that shit off. That would have been crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do I think Georgia fans rush the field just for the heck of it? Nah.
No.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Here's what's gonna happen. Probably by halfway through the third quarter, most of those Tennessee fans are gonna have figured out they're not gonna win that game and they're gonna leave.
What? All 10 of them?
Both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I heard they got enough money to get there, but they're gonna be in Athens for about 2 weeks trying to get home.
Damn.
Sorry, man. I've had a long day. I got to get out.
I think anybody, if you take the names off of the helmets, you take the colors off the jersey, and you say this is the number 1 offense in the country with the 81st defense. This is the number 2 offense in the country with the number 5 or 4 defense. Right. Which team are you going with? That's a no-brainer. There's no even need to have a conversation. Oh, and by the way, the number 2 scoring offense in the country or total offense team in the country, yeah, they get the game at home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I
Right.
don't understand. Oh, and by the way, their coach just won a national title last year, and this guy's in his the other team guy's coach is in his
Right.
second year.
Bro, you're right. I listen. The last couple of days I've been listening to some Tennessee ball channels, right? And hey, I listen to it. I don't get on there and chirp, whatever. I listen to it. But the one I heard today, and I don't even remember it. I don't know if I'd mention it, even if I could remember. But the one guy that was on there, and apparently he's a pretty popular dude, but he said he hates Georgia fans more than any fans in the country because I'm a Georgia fan, are so arrogant because we won the national title. He said, other than that, what have y'all done? They haven't done. I'm like, what are you smoking? I was like, dude, yeah, man, it's just like that. That's more than delusional. That's like you need to be on a 72-hour hold.
Yeah,
What's going on?
Georgia fans, they're not used to winning, so that's why they're acting like that, man.
Robbie
guess.
Robbie said that Big Dog Brett sounds like he's trying to convince himself UGA is going to win. No, sir.
We don't have to.
This is not what I sound like when I'm trying to convince myself I'm going to win. This isn't
He's
anything
just
what I
telling
sound
you,
like.
man, that Georgia is nothing to play with, man. Y'all see?
Well, and again,
here's what I'm telling you. Hold on. Here, Robbie. Let me point this out to you. You see this young man up here by the name of Brock Watson? He is an Alabama fan. You couldn't get him to say that he loves Georgia for any amount of money. And he's telling you Georgia is fixing to work y'all over. That's not me trying to convince me. That's him trying to warn y'all.
Man, that's church there.
And I'm telling you, Tennessee, if you're not playing at home, so you better
Well,
you better
you're right.
Buckle up your seatbelt and
Right. This entire season they played what? 2 away games?
Fuck is this?
yeah. And I'm telling you, they're gonna make a
Y'all
lot
not
of
worried
mistakes.
at all that they're about Tennessee.
Cool Breeze, I got to tell you, brother, I've seen your name in my chat for I don't know how long, but never in a month of Sundays that I think you was going to have a voice that would rile James Earl Jones. This man scared me. This man scared me. I thought Jesus was coming down to bring me home. Come with me, boy.
That's
So,
crazy.
hold on. Number 1 team in the country, number 1 offense, and you're not worried at all about this team.
Doing good?
No, sir, I'm not.
Man, I love
honestly
it.
not. I had this. You can ask Keith. I had this conversation with him yesterday on the phone.
Yo, if my team won the national championship, I'll be talking that reckless too.
I'm not trying to talk reckless. I know it sounds that way, but I'll be 100% honest with you. Me and Keith talk on the phone pretty regular, and we talk about the show when we talk about college football and this, that, and the other. And me and him both on the phone is like, I really don't feel nervous for this game. I mean, I probably should.
Yeah,
but I just don't.
Nah, I think there's a lot at stake. I think the Heisman and national championship is at stake at this game right now.
Yeah, for y'all.
Here's the thing. Georgia doesn't
For
care about a
Tennessee.
Heisman.
No,
Right.
not for Georgia. There's nobody on Georgia that's good enough to win the Heisman. I'm talking about for Hendon
That's a
Hooker.
fact. That's true.
Yeah.
Hendon Hooker's Heisman is on the line. Like he wins this, I think he wins out and he gets a Heisman.
I gotta pick that one a little bit.
What's
I
that?
think if you really asked anybody who the best player in college football is, it would be Brock Bowers. But tight ends don't.
Yeah,
get
but
the
I mean, I
Heisman.
thought we were talking like
So-
realistically. He
But
was
I can't. I know, but I can't let you just slide with the backhanded diss that there's nobody good enough on Georgia to win the Heisman.
To be fair, I think what he meant is there's nobody on Georgia's team that they would give it to.
Yeah,
because they only give it to quarterbacks now.
I'll give you that.
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
I agree.
I mean, there's what I guess me as a Georgia fan, here's where I come from to kind of back up what Brett said. I'm not going to say that I'm not quote unquote worried about this game because as a Georgia fan, I get worried about all big games. I was worried about games before you guys were ranked number 1 in the country. Before the season, it was going to be one of our biggest games on the season. And you guys we knew who Hendon Hooker was. We knew he was last year. So this game has been a big game for me as a Georgia fan already. But the media, after you guys have jumped to number one, has made it seem like, Georgia is the one that has to worry. Georgia's the one that needs to watch out. Georgia's the one that needs to put their guard up. Georgia's the one that's fixing to get steamrolled. And it's like, maybe not. I mean, Tennessee is really the one that's got to be proving themselves here. They're coming into – now, if we were coming to Neyland, I would be completely in a different direction. But the fact that this game is in Athens is huge. Like I was saying earlier, I don't know if you're on here, but it is very rare for a game of this magnitude for the home team to lose. These teams are – when you get to this point, these teams are all so evenly matched that the crowd, whether it be Neyland, whether it be Athens, they become a 12th man. I mean, you just go back to the Arkansas game for us last year.
Yeah,
our fans killed that game, and it's going to be tough for Tennessee tomorrow. It's not going to be even. I mean, if you think this game is a coin flip on a neutral field, then it's not going to be when you put it, at either one of our stadiums. And so I think that's going to play a huge part. And I think that's one of the things that contributes to me not being so worried about it, because I'm not any more worried about it now than I was, 6 weeks ago. I'll put it that way.
All right. I understand. But when these teams, those one-off years when they win national championship, they do go on the road. I'm talking like LSU 19, Texas 06, I think. When they got one of those just team of destinies, they go on the road and beat teams. I watched Tennessee beat LSU at LSU and walked them out the stadium.
No doubt, man. And that's why I say
you don't know if Tennessee is good enough to beat Georgia.
I completely agree. If you guys go into Athens and win that game,
I think they have as good of a shot. I think it's a coin flip game. I don't know that Georgia is that much better than Tennessee, and I don't know if Tennessee is that much better than Georgia.
Well, here's one of the things that I will put out there for you.
The people that are paid to make money off of this game, though, they're paid to bookie this game, does think that this game is not necessarily as close. I mean, a 9-point in this game, particularly when Tennessee is coming in as the higher ranked team, having a line that has actually increased over the past 24 hours. It was like at 8.5 like a day or two ago. To have the line in, I mean, that is a huge line. You have to say that is a huge line.
What's it at now?
Magnitude. It's at 9 right now.
Damn.
It started out at what, 11 and a half? You can get it at 11 and a half.
It went to, I think it went to 6 at one point, and now it's back up to 9. But I mean, that to me, I mean,
9. What? Remember that? Wasn't that the favorite that Alabama was over Tennessee a couple weeks ago?
No, they were more. They were more.
I'm saying that's people. That's a betting thing. It's just to get you to bet. It's going to be a really good game.
But it's made for the house to make money, though. It's not made for get people to bet. It's made so that people bet on it and lose.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Somebody explain this.
Trust me. Yeah, you're going to have a game where Tennessee beats Alabama, and I guarantee if you guys line up tomorrow in that game, if Alabama had half the penalties,
if we play them in the SEC championship, they're not going to win it.
If they get 7 penalties instead of 13, you guys don't win that game.
If Georgia shows up and plays Tennessee the same way they played Kent State or Missouri, they're getting crushed.
See, but that's
we're saying ifs.
Yeah, but
I think that goes back to the puncher's chance in any fight, right?
Yeah.
I mean, anybody can lose on any given Saturday, but all of that aside, Georgia's a better team. John Clark apparently has either been huffing spray paint or is absolutely illiterate. He's got his sentences mixed up here.
Yeah, it has better athletes, but I think Tennessee by a far has the better coaches.
Yeah.
What?
I agree with that.
That's totally delusional and wrong, sir.
I mean,
This is just recently biased right here.
Yo,
do you think
he
Josh
said
Heupel's a
better
good coach?
coaches. Oh my geez, no.
Hold on. Do you think Josh Heupel's a good coach?
Yes,
Yes.
I do. Yes.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no doubt.
Can he
No
win?
doubt.
He wins tomorrow. He's coach of the year, right?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's got no. Just because he wins tomorrow doesn't mean he's all out, because he
Not
still
tomorrow,
hasn't
yeah.
played. He hasn't played at Clemson. He hasn't played at Ohio State. He hasn't played those guys. So to sit there and just hand him Coach of the Year right out of the
They
gate,
give him that award before that he would play him. They would.
I
That's
know, but what I'm
Well, you
saying is
gotta-
that Georgia will schedule these cross division rivalries like with Oregon and Clemson and whatnot. Tennessee's not doing
Right.
that.
yeah.
Right. Oh, they canceled the Army game. They canceled the Army game for this year.
Who did?
Remember that, Brett?
Who did?
Yeah. Tennessee.
Were they supposed to play Army this year?
Yeah. 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 Go back and if you get a chance, go back and look. It was either I think it was after the season, and they canceled the Army game.
Damn. That'd have been an interesting game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's hard to beat the same team twice.
They
You know what I'm
it
saying?
is. They replaced that game with Akron, by the way.
That's
Our
what
game
it was.
was-
I was trying to remember who came in.
See, because we beat y'all last year in the SEC title, and then y'all came back and whooped our ass in the damn championship. So,
Right.
you know, it's hard to beat a team twice, man.
Well, here's the other thing, and I don't think we
with
touched
Georgia
on
and
this
Auburn as
tonight.
well.
I don't think we touched on this tonight. But whenever Tennessee was playing Alabama, Tennessee was throwing everything, every play they had at Alabama. They were drawing up plays in the dirt. They did one with macaroni noodles one time, trying to figure out a way to get the ball down the field. There is absolutely nothing in their playbook that Georgia hasn't seen.
True.
Yep.
I agree.
That's right.
And I really don't feel like Georgia has had to do the same thing.
Right. Right. The thing with Jalen Hyatt, I've heard a conversation about him, is how open he gets. And again, I understand the scheme has created how open he is. And I'm not taking away any talent or speed that he's got. But it's kind of like back when Wilt Chamberlain played and he was scoring 100 points a game, and the opposite coach would get in there like, hey, does anybody got Wilt? It's like for 3 games, like that dude just is running free and he's not accountable. You're gonna see Malachi Starks draped on him.
It was a really good cover safety.
So one of the things that I'll put out there for you is that I would argue that Georgia's secondary is better than Alabama's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so and just
Right.
and to just throw it out there that they're just going to burn Alabama secondary. That's like, are you sure that's really going to happen that way? Because I'm not saying you won't get a play here and there, but the question is it going to be enough to consistently do it to the number one defensive team called Georgia Bulldogs?
Right.
I don't know that you can say that. I don't know that you can jump up and down and be like, we're just going to burn Georgia because we burned Alabama. These defenses are not the same. You think that because it's Alabama,
Y'all don't
you're
have
used to
the
Alabama
problems that
having a good
Alabama
defense.
has. So y'all don't have the problems that we have in secondary and stuff like that. Y'all don't have the problems. So,
No, we got
different.
better cover safeties.
Yeah, they got better. Well, they got Starks, man. They got a couple guys. They got Lassiter. They got
Ringo.
I guarantee you, Malachi Starks is faster than anybody on Tennessee's team, including Jalen Hyatt. That guy's got world-class speed.
Oh, he run like a 4.3, 4.2 something.
I forget. I know what his 100 was.
Malachi Starks runs a 4.3. He has a 40.6-inch vertical, and he runs the 100 meter in 10.55.
Woo!
That's world-class.
So, question.
There are Olympic athletes that can't do that.
Right.
He's a freshman though, and made a pretty huge mistake in the Florida game. So,
Well, he's
he's
he went
susceptible to
underneath.
being crossed up on this scheming stuff that Tennessee's going to do. But
Sure.
their secondary is our secondary is going to be very coached up for that. Now that means they got to go out there and perform. I mean, it's no secret. I mean, our DBs are going to be on islands in this game because Georgia's going to stop the run and try to turn Tennessee one dimensional. Hendon Hooker, I mean, we're going to force him to beat us through the air. And I know that probably sounds counterproductive, but I do think that's what Georgia's going to do. I think they're going to allow the secondary to guard the receivers and make those receivers beat them in space and make Hendon Hooker make the pass. But if Tennessee runs the ball against Georgia tomorrow, I think it's going to be a long day for Georgia.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you guys a question here. I don't know. I can't find it. Is Arian Smith playing in this game?
Dude, he's on and off a milk carton.
Somebody said AD Mitchell wasn't coming back no time soon. I don't know.
But here's what I will tell you. For people that think Malachi Starks is fast.
Oh no, Arian
Smith posted a 10.10 100-meter dash.
Yeah, that dude is sick.
He runs like a 4.2, don't he?
Matt Bowling, by the way, Matt Bowling beat him with a 10.09. So please, somebody tell me that Georgia's slow. Somebody please tell me Georgia's slow. I'm waiting on that.
Right.
Georgia don't have no cornerbacks that can keep up with him. Georgia's too slow.
They said, and again, they said is always, hearsay. But don't think that Georgia went through the summer or spring not looking at Tennessee's offense and what Heupel does.
Well, not only did they look at Tennessee's offense, they looked at the things that worked for worked for Alabama and didn't work for Alabama. See, people don't think about that.
Yeah, right.
So when you can go back, I mean, watching a team of Alabama's caliber screw up as much as they did, sorry, Brock, and still almost win that game, and I would argue Georgia's better than Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
You don't think Georgia's going to sit down and watch that tape and see exactly what worked and use that to their advantage? Of course they are.
You go back to Alabama beat themselves on that.
Absolutely, they did. Absolutely. Yeah. And the only people that don't say that are Tennessee fans. Everybody else says that.
Yeah.
Bro,
listen,
I found if we don't create them penalties, we may blow out Tennessee, in my opinion.
Ronnie Jones says Georgia is not better than Bama, bro. Does anybody want to show him a stat line?
No. Alabama did not beat themselves. I watched the Tennessee-Kentucky game. I watched Tennessee-LSU. They're scheming those wide open plays. Like you can say that
they are scheming the wide open plays, but it's not just those wide open plays that was helping them. The thing that was helping them was Alabama committing penalties and extending plays for them. Alabama committing a pass interference in the end zone that would have been an interception, but got called back. That takes 7 points off the board right there.
Yeah, muffing a punt. They're world-class field goal kicker missing a field goal. Their last drive, for some reason, not draining the clock and kicking the field goal with no time left. It's a very poorly coached. Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien screwed that
up. Very badly coached football game.
Y'all need to get
Alabama.
rid of
and
Bill
Alabama
O'Brien.
has been that way all year long.
Yeah. I think that
Alabama is not above reproach. They have been poorly coached all year.
Their offense, Tennessee's offense, and the fast pace that they do, I think that forces the hand of mistakes.
Absolutely, I agree.
That's true.
I completely agree. That's exactly what they're doing, and it is a scheme. It is a scheme, and
so normally
this
is my fear for Georgia. I don't know if they're going. This is my fear for Georgia. But normally you get these kids. You say they're sophomore, freshmen. They're in plays where it's going so fast, and they may not get the communication in that they need to. And Hendon Hooker is 25, 26 years old. He's going to take advantage of it.
No,
all right, so
here's. I wouldn't want to bet on fooling the other team with my scheme though every time and winning the game.
So basically, Cool Breeze, you're saying because of the Tennessee offense, the fast offense, you feel like that they're not going to be able to communicate the defense, and they're Hendon's going to throw a deep ball. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that's what I believe happens is the busted coverage is because of lack of communication, and they put because of that, how fast that offense run, it creates busted coverages.
Yeah,
guys, we got about 130 people in here. We're about 80 thumbs up. Let's see if we can get that to 100, man. I'd really appreciate it, guys. It does help the channel.
yeah. I mean, you got a point there, but I mean, I really don't know about that situation. You know, I don't know. I believe Kirby's going to be aware of all this, just because he's watched the film on Alabama. So I'm pretty sure he's gonna have that probably under control. But
Right.
Let me throw this out there. Georgia and Tennessee have nearly identical as far as points per game, or excuse me, possessions, not possessions per game, number of plays run in a game. They're very close, believe it or not. The number of plays run are very close. Not the time of possession, not the yards are it's only a 200-yard difference, by the way. Passing. But the big thing that we're not talking about, or we don't want to talk about, or whatever, is that Georgia's offense is extraordinarily capable. Extraordinarily capable. They don't have an 85th ranked offense. They don't. They have a very good offense. And for David Spade Jr. to say this is a delusional podcast full of men trying to talk themselves into believing Tennessee don't have a chance. He's clearly not paying attention to the game at hand. It's one thing to be a homer, but there's people in here in this stream right now that are not Georgia fans.
Sure.
So Brock doesn't care one way or the other whether Georgia wins or Tennessee wins. All he's got to do and his team has to do is win out the rest of the season, which they probably will. And then they're going to be in the SEC championship game, and they're going to play either one. So it doesn't matter to him. He's calling it like it is. The other thing people aren't talking about is that you don't think for one second that Kirby Smart didn't pick up the phone and call Nick Saban. These coaches talk all the time. And if you doubt that, you don't know a damn thing about college football.
Exactly.
You talking about they got 4 natties together.
Yeah. More than that, don't they?
Yeah, 5.
Is it 4 or 5? Is it 5?
4 or
I thought it
5.
was 4. Okay.
Was he there at LSU?
Wait, 09.
It's at least 4.
12.
It doesn't matter. It's at least 4. These guys are all friends.
3, 4. Yeah, you're right. They're tight.
So what I'm saying is I'm a little full right now, Juan. We'll get you in here in a little bit. Here's what I'm saying. You don't think that Kirby Smart, being the defensive mastermind that he is, and he's got Will Muschamp sitting there helping him. Look, for God's sake, they play a walk-on quarterback and they're killing people.
Right.
So, I mean, think about this. You have a coach who is beating Heisman winning quarterbacks with a walk-on. And you think I'm trying to talk myself into maybe we can win? This is your first day, isn't it? Bless your heart. Honey.
He relapsed.
Welcome to the South, dear. Here we call it like it is. Gather your crayons and your coloring books and sit down and learn something.
Your crayon, the big crayons.
Them fat ones. Hold it with the whole hand. I bet he got an orange one. Half chewed on.
That's the only one he got.
Listen,
Big orange.
I appreciate all y'all in here. All you guys in the stream over here talking smack, please don't stop. I enjoy it. I welcome it. It's fun. I like having you guys in here mixing it up with us. My daughter brought me a milkshake. It is delicious. I haven't had a milkshake in a long time.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, good.
Go ahead, Rimmer.
What's more likely, A Tennessee blowout or a Georgia blowout?
Oh,
Tennessee blowout.
yeah. If Georgia plays,
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't think Tennessee's gonna blow out Georgia. That's my opinion. Not in their home stadium. No,
I've seen
don't
Georgia get blown
because
out in their home stadium before.
They turned the ball
Hey,
over
guys.
at LSU.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
If this was Mark Richt, I would 100% agree.
Oh yeah.
However,
if this was Mark Richt, this is Kirby Smart from Alabama. So
listen, I didn't start this channel until Mark Richt really stopped because I couldn't take it.
Yeah, I hear you.
I was one more Georgia Tech game away from jumping off of Bobby Dodd Stadium.
Damn.
Yeah. I don't know who said it, but the only way I think Tennessee blows Georgia out is if Georgia has the issues that Alabama had, turning the ball over and penalties.
And here's the thing: Georgia is one of the most disciplined teams in the country.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
So that's not likely to happen.
I think they're the most less penalized team in the country. So
yeah, I was going to ask what they rank.
Number 4. We're number 4 in the country behind, I think, Illinois and a couple of other teams. It's not many.
Yeah. I think
but let me ask you this question. Let me ask you this, guys. Who has a better offense, Georgia or Alabama?
Georgia.
Who has a better defense, Georgia or Alabama?
Georgia.
Alabama has a better offense. It's not. No, I've watched. Yeah, Alabama has a better offense than Georgia.
If their receivers could catch,
no, I'm not saying like the season. I've seen Alabama for majority of the year. They've gotten. They had a couple that were hurt, and they had a lot of new pieces. But like last couple weeks, Alabama offense is pretty good.
I'm gonna say Georgia has the defense.
Georgia has much better defense.
We have. I mean, I'm not saying Georgia's offense is bad, but I in my opinion, I feel like Alabama, has a better offense.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out.
Me.
This is the NCAA college football stats for the season.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's number 1?
Tennessee.
Who's number 2?
Yeah.
Georgia.
Now, who's number 3?
Oregon.
Oregon.
No, are we not taking context of like Bryce being out for a couple weeks, and then like the Jalen Milroe office was terrible.
I think it's Texas.
Alabama's down here at 17, boss man. That's more than 1 week, but I understand.
Jalen Milroe was. I mean, how long was he in there? He was like 2 weeks.
No, he was in there. He only played. He played one half of the second half of Arkansas,
fourth quarter
and
Arkansas, and then he played the game with Texas A&M.
That was it.
Yeah.
You can't say Georgia's padding stats for playing nobody when we have Stetson Bennett as a quarterback. Sit down. You're making yourself look foolish, gentlemen.
Yeah. No.
Can't pad stats. Well, you cannot pad stats with Stetson Bennett. Sit down.
Yeah.
If we had a Carson Beck at quarterback, we'd hang 70 on people. I promise you that.
Yes, sir.
Let's sit down.
Yes,
Crayons are showing. Crayon stuff.
What's the defensive stats? Show me defense.
I will in just a second. I will in just a second. Let me talk about the number 3 team here. Somebody tell me who that is again.
Oregon.
Oregon has the number 3 defense. Georgia beat them, didn't they?
By 46.
Let's see. Somebody show me a team here. Number 17, Alabama is the next closest one you got. Right?
What's that?
The next closest team to Tennessee, because we got Tennessee right here. We got Georgia, which they ain't played yet. Georgia beat Oregon, right? So that's the closest competition we can show as far as offenses go. Tennessee didn't play TCU, UCF, Ohio State, Washington, North Carolina, UCLA, Ole Miss, Georgia Southern. Didn't play any of these teams.
Yeah.
Right? So we get out here to Alabama. Alabama's at 17. And then I don't think there's another team in the top 50 they played. Except Florida at 46. Kent State, by the way, has a better offense than Florida. Just thought I'd throw that out there for you for all you bragging on Kent State.
Right.
Yeah.
So technically, Kent State is better than Florida.
better than
Right.
Penn State, who
And
gave
how does
Ohio State everything they wanted.
how
So,
does
Brett, where do you
Tennessee?
find? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
Oh, I was gonna ask, where do you find those stats at? I was gonna look.
This
just
is
look
it's
at
a
it.
really difficult. You Tennessee fans are gonna struggle. It's ncaa.com/stats. The dot means period, by the way. Don't look
Bet.
for a key that says dot on it. There's not one. It's actually the period.
No, what I was
Damn.
going to say real quick is how does Tennessee let Anthony Richards hang over 400 on him?
I don't know. But
Every time you bring that up,
we got to talk about that. Brian Scott wants you to know that when Anthony Richardson hangs 400 on you, it's because of their strength of schedule. He said, look up their strength of schedule. I dare you. This is such a weak argument.
Wow. People need to put the pipe down for a little bit.
So
I don't think you can look that up.
here's the thing. So here's the thing. If you had the strength of schedule that Tennessee had, Georgia wouldn't even be ranked. Essentially, that's what he's saying.
Wow.
You don't have these kind of stats. You don't have these kind of points if you're not playing to the best of your ability almost all the time. Georgia has given up 6 turnovers in 2 games, and they are less than 200 yards away from having as much offense as Tennessee. Sit down, sir. You're embarrassing yourself. My God.
Man. Who is let me ask you this. Who there are I know it does happen, but it seems like Georgia, I mean, I know Alabama does it, but who schedules non-conference games like Oregon at the beginning of the season?
They don't.
It ain't Tennessee.
exactly.
They get rid of Army because it's too scary.
Yeah.
Pitt was a good game though. Like Pitt
Right.
was not a bad team to schedule your conference with.
Here's
So you play who you play.
Pitt
wasn't bad.
almost got beat. Pitt
I'm not
almost
saying-
got beat by West Virginia, man.
You're right.
It did
Georgia
get
just
beat by
got
Georgia
by
Tech.
Penn State.
Yeah,
but like
Pitt got beat
Pitt's
by
not
Georgia
a bad
Tech.
team.
Right.
Oh yeah, they
So-
got beat by Georgia Tech. Oh shit, I forgot.
Yeah, like they're
So-
not bad.
Well, but
Yeah,
was
here we are.
Slovis out though?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He got
Yeah,
knocked
he's
out
been
of
out
the
for a
game.
while. Right.
So here's the stat for total defense. Here's Georgia at number 4. Okay. And I'm going to scroll down. You guys tell me when you see Tennessee.
Alabama 14.
You gotta go to
Hey,
page 2.
don't even see him.
Oh, look, I'm down here where it says NCAA is a part of the Bleacher Report. It ain't even down here.
you in the fine, they below the fine print.
They in the
Alabama
negative on this thing.
14.
Listen, Alabama over here at what I say, 14. Listen,
Yep.
guys,
Out of
big
top 10.
difference between 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, and 14.
Now,
If you don't believe me, if I tell you tomorrow you didn't have to play Georgia, you could play whoever was ranked 14th. I think you take that game instead.
100.
Georgia, this is what I love. Georgia's schedule is a joke. Oregon's all you got. Red Cap, I appreciate you being around here and flexing your knowledge. Would you care to tell me the score of the Florida-Tennessee game?
5 points.
Does anybody want to tell me the score of the Georgia-Florida game?
22 points, 42 to 20.
So what you're saying is that if we play the exact same team we have,
They won by 5.
they score less points and we score more points. That what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's what happened.
I bet you Tennessee's glad they didn't.
Georgia
open up
won by
against Oregon.
22. Georgia beat
On a
Florida by
neutral field.
22.
I bet you Tennessee's glad they didn't open up against Oregon.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Bo Nix would have the game of his life.
Yeah.
Not saying whichever team would have win, but I guarantee you Tennessee ain't up for trading schedules.
Yep.
D-Mess says, I watch too much Lou. I actually don't watch that much Lou. I don't have time, sir. This guy's having a fit to call in. So I'm gonna let him in. I'm not gonna make him give me a $2 super chat either.
I'll be quiet.
Oh, that's an impossibility.
Put it on speaker.
Let me get rid of this screen. For me to come in. There it is, man. There's the link. See, here's what's gonna happen. And there are good Tennessee fans out there. I don't want people to think I'm just beating up on Tennessee fans. I have friends that are Tennessee fans, and I like
for
them,
sure.
care about them, and all that. I'm not saying that, but I'm gonna tell you what's fixing to happen. Just like what happened with the Oklahoma game, just like what happened with the Michigan game, just like what happened with the Oregon game. The moment that game is over, y'all are gonna disappear. Gone. There was like 5 people out of 5,000 that has come back and said, man, you was right. That's a good team. I'm sorry I said that.
But you know what happens if Georgia loses?
They're gonna be here. They're gonna show up in droves.
What I'm saying, and we're gonna be right here.
Oh yeah, I'm still gonna be right here.
We'll be right here talking about it next week.
Georgia fan. All right, Smokey, you gonna make me do this to you. The Georgia fans will be barking so their wives can understand. Here's what y'all need to understand. You need to make sure that you keep Smokey locked up, because y'all's last 2 mascots that y'all were supposed to watch, not only did they get out, both of them got hit by cars. Both of them. How did you let a second dog get out and get hit by a car? I have never heard of a mascot. I have never heard of a mascot committing suicide, but y'all managed to do it to 2 of them.
Is Smokey gonna be barking?
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Woo.
Lord have mercy.
Be careful what fight you start. Make sure you can handle your business.
Smokey's gonna say, woo.
He got a damn mascot that barks too. He gonna talk about barking. Man, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
What it is?
Hey, what's up, guys? Just thought I'd educate you Georgia fans, crayon eating folks on I think you guys are missing the big picture. You see, the Tennessee Volunteers are getting better at just the right moment. Good teams, great teams get better as the season progresses. And Georgia, I don't see that, man. And I think that's where you guys are getting it twisted. Right now we're at the best point we possibly could be to beat Georgia. I understand, you got all these people, they talk about Pitt, Florida, but I mean, it's just like Oregon at the beginning of the season, man. Oregon's not the same team from week 1. And, Tennessee ain't the same team from those early weeks. I mean, I feel like we kind of reached our best moments at that Alabama game. And then ever since then, the floodgates have opened, and you guys will see tomorrow, man. You guys will see tomorrow.
You reached your best moments by barely getting by Alabama.
Hold on, Brock.
Because at the end of the day, you guys bring up Pitt, you guys bring up Florida, but I mean, at least those are Power 5 programs. I mean, you don't see Tennessee struggling on Kent State.
How many points did UT Martin put up?
You guys talk about a big defense, but I mean,
how many points did UT Martin put up?
I mean, at least we're scoring way more points than them. I mean, that's the thing. The offense, that's not keeping up with the defense.
What is UT Martin's offense? What's it ranked?
Know.
Hold on. No, I'm just trying to be. I got a ton of respect for you coming on here, dude. It's not easy. I get it. Ton of respect for you. Thank you for coming on. I think that's awesome that you let me in. I'm gonna tell you guys what's up. And I totally respect that. But I gotta ask you a question. You guys keep ragging on Kent State. Fair enough. But I got to ask you a question. Do you know where their offense is ranked at?
I think I saw earlier it's around 41, something like that.
Kent State has a better offense than Penn State, Oregon State, Miami, Florida, and Clemson.
Exactly. The 41st ranked offense scored that much on you guys. Just imagine.
Hold on.
Number 1 ranked offense.
Pump the brakes. Let me talk. I'll let you talk. Let me talk.
All right.
The 41st ranked offense scored 22 points on Georgia, right?
Right.
Okay. And you think that's terrible, right?
Right.
I want you to tell me how UT Martin, which doesn't even have a ranked offense, put 24 on Tennessee.
That's what I'm saying, man. The defense is getting better at the right time.
You guys went out and
past-
had one good game against Kentucky. You can't all of a sudden say that you have this dynamic defense.
Sir.
Oh,
We shut down Jaden Daniels. We shut down Will Levis. I mean, these quarterbacks that
You think shutting down Stetson Bennett is gonna hurt Georgia?
sir,
Have you watched Stetson Bennett play? He shuts himself down.
Sir, Stetson Bennett, if Stetson Bennett does what he did against Florida at the Tennessee game, you guys are losing.
You're crazy.
Hell, you guys might even get blown out. Give Tennessee those same 3 possessions back to back to back.
Wow.
And Tennessee, I guarantee you, will not see. That's the thing. Florida, when Georgia turns the ball over, their defense is bailing them out. They're coming out with field goals. They're 3 and outs, stuff like that, right? You do that to Tennessee, I'm telling you, you're gonna get punished. That's all I'm saying. And
Stetson Bennett said punished.
Stetson Bennett and your offense, that's your weak point, man.
Sir,
I understand you guys have had a great. The defense has never been the issue for Georgia for I'm talking about 6-7 years now. The defense has not been. It's always.
How are y'all going to stop their tight end?
Hold on. I got a phone number that I want you to write down for me, Juan. It's 770-575-8755. Now you're going to want to send that to the defensive coordinator for Tennessee. That is the phone number for a Miracle Ear. Y'all's football players is going to be deaf.
Now,
that stadium is going to vibrate.
This Brock Bowers that you keep talking about. First of all, he's been kind of quiet this season. I know he had a big breakout game last week against Florida. But listen, listen, almost 100 of his yards from that circus catch that he made from Stetson. That should have been an interception. That should have been an interception, man.
Shoulda, coulda, wasn't.
Yeah. No. That's the thing. You Georgia fans, Disney. See, y'all are some Disney dogs.
Hey, big dog. On this one,
Disney dogs.
Y'all some Disney dogs, man.
Y'all have a good
y'all don't want to see reality.
The reason why I got to push back.
Hold on. Y'all let this man finish embarrassing himself.
No.
Listen, all I'm gonna say before I leave, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity, man.
Absolutely, man.
But listen, man, I'm just saying, you guys are taking these plays and I guess you guys are kind of becoming Disney dogs. Y'all aren't seeing reality. Reality is Stetson is garbage. And
we know. We have been saying that since they made it before y'all even started.
We've been saying that since before you even know Stetson Bennett.
We're on the same page with you.
And listen. This is what I'm getting to. Stetson is garbage, but when he plays worse is when he is running for his life. And listen, I know our pass defense. That I'm not saying we're perfect, So if I were to pick a weak point, I'd say it's the pass defense as well. But our front seven, man, we're gonna go after Stetson. And off that back foot,
do that.
Have you seen it? Have you seen his arms? They're like two.
You do that. You guys go chase Stetson around. See how that works out for you. Why don't you ask Auburn how that works?
He's gonna be underthrowing balls this whole game.
Stetson Bennett rips off an 80-yard run against Auburn, and you're gonna tell me you're gonna catch this guy? Dude.
I guarantee you, man.
Stetson Bennett cannot be caught. Stetson Bennett made a deal with Kirby Smart 2 years ago.
Exactly.
And Kirby Smart told him, if a player or coach or fan ever catches you, you can't throw the football anymore. That's like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. That boy won't leave his program. He's going to be here till he's 50. The problem is that Stetson Bennett is terrible. We all know it. Nobody is beating us, even though the man's throwing sometimes less than 50%. We are used to having an average to below average walk-on quarterback, and we're still killing people. So if your game plan is that we're going to disrupt Stetson, you can't make him any worse.
That's the thing. I'm trying to say that he's your weak link. Our run defense, we're stopping that run, man. We're at least going to stop it enough. Now. We're going to stop it enough to where Stetson has to throw it over 30 times. And if you look at Stetson's record, over the course of his career at Georgia, these 7 years now, when he throws over 30 passes, He has a losing record. That's all I'm gonna say. He has a losing
Hold
record.
on. Since records matter to you, matter this one. 32-1 since 2017. That's
At home.
Georgia's record at home.
And you know where that loss came to, my friend? South Carolina. That's
And what's that got to do with this game? It ain't y'all.
You're acting like Georgia. You're acting like Georgia's unbeatable. He's not, man.
I'm not acting like Georgia's unbeatable. I'm just telling you, we ain't counting on Stetson Bennett to win this game.
You know what happened in that game? I think it was like
Jake Fromm screwed up. He threw 3 interceptions or threw 2 and a fumble.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I was there.
And you don't think Stetson's not capable of doing that? That's all I'm gonna say.
Stetson's more than capable of doing that. Stetson has done that this season, and we still beat him by 20 points. What's your point?
But because you guys are laughing at me when I brought up the box.
I'm not laughing at you, man. I'm laughing with you. You're just not laughing.
When I brought up the Brock Bowers play, right, against Florida, and I told you guys that should have been an interception.
I mean, said the same thing.
Exactly. And so I'm telling you guys, against Tennessee, that's going to be an interception, and we're going to put 7 points on the board with that. That's all I'm saying.
Do you think Tennessee has such greater defensive backs than Florida, right?
Definitely. And then I would say yes. I would say yes.
Yeah. Man, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
I would say yes. And listen, guys, our defense, our team as a whole, we're getting better as the season progresses.
You guys have
that's what great teams do. That's what great teams do. If anything, Georgia has gotten worse than week 1. That's all I'm gonna say. And great teams get better as the end of the season goes along. So that's all I'm gonna say, guys. But I appreciate the opportunity, man. I gotta get going. But y'all have a good morning, all right?
Later, dude.
Yeah, right on, man.
All right, man.
Yeah. Make sure he's here next Friday.
How many shutouts does Tennessee have this year? I forget.
Hey, first of all, hold on. Before we go any further, I want to give props to Juan for coming into a hostile room and standing up and speaking his mind and not getting belligerent with it. Ton of respect for you, my man. That was cool. I like that. But you are delusional.
Hey, I'll eat my words, but I think Tennessee is a year away from being able to walk into Athens and win a game like this.
This is not the environment that Tennessee fans are used to. What Tennessee fans are used to is coming down to Athens every other year. What's that?
The whole state of Georgia is going to be at that game tomorrow.
Right. Here's where Tennessee screwed up. Kirby Smart made that statement that he wants the fans to come out and be loud. I was at the Arkansas game. And he didn't ask us to be loud. We were just loud because we wanted to be.
Yeah.
Now, how loud do you think? Oh, let's see. I'm gonna ask you a question. Oh Lord, that's way too much. Let me go back. We're still messing up. I'm not talking about him. So standing in a stadium, I just want you guys to know that standing in a stadium. Have you ever stood next to a NASCAR or a dragster or anything like that?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Do you know how loud that is?
Very loud.
Yeah.
That is 120 decibels. 120. It was 119 in that stadium against Arkansas. And Coach Kirby Smart didn't ask for that. By the way, that stadium was not sold out. And it was like 80. There was like 80,000 people there.
That's crazy.
That place is going to be stupid loud. That's why I gave him the number. He probably didn't write it down for Miracle Ear because those players are going to be deaf.
And then they say this is the most expensive ticket in college football history coming in this game.
Regular season.
I heard some tickets are $5,000, man. Is that true?
Yeah. So
Well,
these people,
I think that's because Georgia has some VIP suites or whatever that are very expensive.
Right. Oh yeah.
Damn. That's a lot of money, man. For a go to game.
We're getting better because we stopped the 100th best offense in Kentucky. That's correct.
Are you going to the game, Brett, or no?
No, I am a poor Southerner.
Stetson can't turn the ball over.
Right.
You can't afford it.
Whenever
I mean,
here's the thing: when you have not
he
played
gotta
in an
just
environment
live
like that,
himself.
there's going to be a lot of young players on that team. There's new coaches on that team that have never played at Georgia. They do not understand how loud it is going to be. And whenever you get out there and you're a fast-paced offense and you want to go fast and you can't because of the noise, you don't think that's going to disrupt that team?
Oh yeah, and it's like many people have talked about the whole. How many times does Tennessee fake clap to see what they're getting in, and then check with me?
Yeah.
I mean, y'all see how many times it messed up Alabama on the road. These road games ain't nothing easy, man. People think, if you got a good team, you can do it. Well, yeah, that you can, but you gotta. If you're not disciplined in the game, man, if your players are not, ready, man, it can get ugly. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, here's the other thing is that the moment, and if you've ever been at a game, you know this. That everybody will be in the stadium going, and then they'll get a false start, and then the noise will double. Yeah. And now the crowd has just figured out that they can screw you up. And so the next time you get up at the line, it was louder than it was before.
Imagine 100,000 people doing that at the same time.
Yeah.
So what you're going to have is if you watch that game, you will see that there will be players on the sideline with earplugs in and with earmuffs on, and you will look up and you will see somebody in the fan with their fingers stuck in their ear, screaming as loud as they possibly can, but they got the fingers in their ears because they can't hear. Guess what you can't do when you're playing football? You can't put your fingers in your ears, and you can't wear no damn earplugs.
Church.
It's just bonkers.
Well, and again, here's the thing, and I think it works against Tennessee. What you just said is when they spread their receivers out from sideline to sideline. So how are you going to communicate? I mean, I get it. There are ways to do it, but not in the way that Tennessee is used to. You can use hand signals, but still, that's not what they're used to. They've only played 2 road games, and LSU was not Athens.
Plus, that was a new kickoff.
Yeah,
new
game was
kickoff. That's exactly.
Yeah, but it was 11 a.m. local time kickoff though.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Central. Yeah.
Yep. So I mean, the big difference. Big difference.
Tennessee fans, boy, they talking cash shit, ain't they?
They trying.
They go. good for them, but
I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. Y'all talk all this smack, and then when Georgia wins the game, the Georgia fans are gonna sing Rocky Top at y'all because of what y'all did.
Thank you.
Because of what y'all did to Tennessee, what y'all did to Alabama.
I'm sure there'll be plenty of Tennessee fans in Athens for sure. Not surprised.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. 50K UT fans in Athens tomorrow. You might have. I don't know, man.
I don't think he's talking about.
Dude, that's almost like the stadium.
I don't think he's talking about the stadium. I think he's.
No. He says between stadium and tailgating.
Yeah,
he's probably not wrong.
Probably more than that, actually.
Well, I've heard
keep in mind that every Saturday in the fall in Athens, when we're playing a football game, it swells to the 3rd largest city in the state.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I mean they're predicting a tremendous amount of it. I was listening to 92.9 The Game today. They're talking about because Dukes and Bell's broadcasting live from there. So I mean it's already ridiculous there today. So I'm sure there's going to be hundreds.
It's not even game day yet. Well, it's about to be.
There's going to be hundreds of thousands of people there. So I'm sure there's a lot of Tennessee people that made the little quick drive down here just to be in Athens
Sure.
for this game. I'm sure. So
Well,
wouldn't surprise me. I actually would predict there'd be more than 50,000 between
Well,
stadium
the chat I've heard all week is unlike Notre Dame when Georgia went to Notre Dame. Georgia fans aren't selling their tickets. Maybe there might be a few are, but not like other teams have in the past.
Hey guys, we're
So-
about 5 away from hitting 100 likes. I think that'd be pretty cool if we could get there. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, you can become a member and support the channel. There's a join button down below where you can join and you become a member. We have different levels for supporting the channel. You can also use super chats and super stickers. I used to do PayPal, but since I'm a poor person who can't afford to have $25 yeeted out of my account if they don't like what I say, I chose to close my PayPal account. So if you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the channel or by doing super chats. I will find a different way to get something up here for you guys that do like to donate, because some of you guys did do that on a pretty regular basis, and I greatly appreciate it. But that's how, if you want to support the channel, you can do that. That's how I'm able to afford this fine brick background you guys see behind us over here.
Does Georgia receive the kick or kickoff and put their defense on the field first?
That's a big question.
Georgia is always going to want the second half.
I was thinking about that today, actually, about what.
So they're probably going to give them the ball first.
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't think Kirby Smart is not scared at all.
Oh no,
not.
You don't have time to be scared of anybody. It's
Kirby. If anything, Kirby's very confident and he knows what to do.
Well, here's the way that I look at it. If you listen to Kirby Smart whenever he talks, he never talks about being a defender. We're not going to be hunted. We're going to go hunt. He wants to be the predator. He's not going to stand back and just be like, well, we don't want him to get momentum right out of the gate. No, Kirby Smart's like, give him the damn ball and let's go take it away from him. That's his mentality, and that's why he made a better coach, in my opinion, than Mark Richt.
Oh yeah, way better.
Yeah. Mark was too passive.
That killer instinct. You can't.
Mark ain't got shit on Kirby. Never.
No.
Said Mark ain't got shit on Kirby.
I definitely think
Never.
the opening drive, particularly for Tennessee, is going to kind of tell you a lot about this game, because they have that opening drive. It's going to be like pre-planned, and so what they're able to do.
It's gonna be a good game. I'm gonna be excited to watch it.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
That first scripted drive, I think, is going to tell you a lot. If they go in there and go 3 and out, it's going to be a long day.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what they'll do. That's what they'll do to try to mitigate the crowd during the game. It's going to be scripted. Not that they don't script it anyway.
No, the first drive is definitely going to be scripted.
Absolutely.
And I think they're going to try to establish the run, actually, because I think they're going to try to establish the run early. So
right.
So Southwest Georgia EUC says, thanks for the show, Brett. We will, I guess he means will we use McIntosh in the pass game like we did Cook last year? # Go Dogs. I don't know if we will use McIntosh that way. I know that we will use Kenny Milton that way. I'm hoping we use Kenny McIntosh.
I haven't seen Milton play that much.
Yeah,
Kenny Milton is the number 3 rusher on the team behind Deshaun and Kenny McIntosh.
Yeah, I think Milton hurt still though.
I don't know.
I think he's supposed to be back.
I heard he was. I heard he's still
McIntosh has 29 receptions. I think what you're going to get is you're going to get a heavy dose of Brock Bowers, Ladd McConkey, Darnell Washington, Dejon Edwards, Branson Robinson, obviously Brock Bowers. And you're going to see Rosemary Jackson, Dominic Blaylock, anybody we can get the ball to. I'm going to go ahead and call out a name here. I'm going to call out a name here, and nobody really knows who this guy is, but you need to go check him out. You will probably see him make a catch out of nowhere in this game. And his name is Jackson Meeks.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Meeks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a hidden asset for sure.
Jackson Meeks is a stunner of a receiver. I watched him coming up through playing high school. This guy's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Wonder if
he
we
was.
use Rick Gilbert this game.
We may even have to use Oscar Delp. I mean,
Yeah. Use all your weapons.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fully expect Georgia. I mean, it's going to be the same thing with Georgia. They're going to run these little drag routes and stuff where they're going to have three levels, three levels of receivers, and and hit the tight ends and expect people to run in space. And that's another. That's one of those things that it's just super hard. It's hard to guard, even though it's coming, because the guys are just so big. You know what I mean? That's going back to what you were saying earlier. It doesn't really take a Heisman level quarterback to hit.
Do you think Eric
Darnell
Gilbert will
Washington,
play?
what I mean?
Eric Gilbert.
I don't know, man. That
I
guy's
don't
hit or
know.
miss. I don't even know if he's with the team right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. He's only had two receptions all season.
Damn. Shit.
Also, I wonder if we'll see a lot more Arian Smith because he can take the top off the defense and give us that deep threat.
Well, Arian Smith, believe it or not, has only had one reception this season. So it's not likely you're going to see those guys. If you're looking for a deep threat, they're probably going to throw to Lad McConkey, who's got boat paddles for hands, apparently. Roseby Jack Saint, Carius Jackson, Dylan Bell. That's another one you're probably going to see. And Dominic Blaylock. So those guys have the most receptions on the team. They're all capable guys. I think Dominic Blaylock's been here the longest though. But I mean, he was out, I think, all of last season due to injury. But I mean, he had 18 receptions in 2019, and he's only had 10 this year. So I mean, like one or two a game. Brian Scott says 10 sacks all year, and Georgia is ranked 120th out of 130 in sacks. 3 of those are from players that is injured, and 1 sack if Georgia is lucky. That's true. That's absolutely true. What is also true is that Georgia doesn't need to sack a quarterback to blow teams out.
They just need to get pressure, man.
What's also true is that Jalen Carter hasn't hardly played this year, and he'll be back with Phil for this game. So,
and another fact, most of the quarterbacks we play get the ball out their hands so quickly, we can't get there.
We lost our number one. We lost our number one sack leader last year in the Florida game too.
Yep,
for the year.
And so the thing is that Georgia. You guys barely know your wide receivers' names. So there's so much talent on the Georgia roster, it's difficult for us to keep up with all the personnel. I know it's easy whenever you guys only have 3 people to follow, which is Jalen Hyatt, Josh Heupel, and Hendon Hooker. But right now you sound like Bear Bryant, Saban, 18 titles. So
yeah,
just to be fair, Georgia has a lot of talent, sir. And if you stick around for a while, you will see that I follow them quite intently. I follow them through the recruiting process. I've done videos when these guys commit to the teams. Me and Keith have even talked about going and watching some of these players play in here in Atlanta where they go to school, IMG Academy and whatnot. So that's kind of how that goes. I don't name these kids. I can't remember how to pronounce all these names. Aziz Ojulari was the hardest one for me for a long time. But yeah.
Hey, Big Dog.
Yep.
Before I bounce, what you were just talking about with him trying to say we're trying to keep up with names, we don't know names. That's a good problem to have when you got 4 and 5 stars.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think Georgia, I can't remember the number. I want to say it's Georgia's got something like 20 or 23 or 24 5-stars on their team right now. Something insane.
Yep. But hey, man, it was great talking to you guys. I got to bounce. Go Dogs. No injuries.
Go Dogs.
Yeah.
All right.
Have a good night, guys.
Later.
See you.
Bye.
So, that having been said, I just cannot, and I try to find a way whenever in big games like this that I can say Georgia should lose this game or Georgia could lose this game because of X, Y, and Z. Georgia has a pretty dominant offense, even with a bad quarterback. If our quarterback comes out and has a bad day, we still win by 20 points against most teams. That's just because the defense is that solid. If Georgia comes out with Stetson Bennett and we have a good day, we could hang 60 on you if we wanted to. That's what we play with. Georgia has an absolutely dominant defense, and you can't say, "Oh, well, it's your strength of schedule." Well, if that was the case, everybody that had a high win record, 8-0, their defense would be up there where ours is, and they're not. So, I mean, when you're talking about teams like Georgia plays in the SEC, which is the toughest conference. So Georgia still puts up those numbers in the SEC, which is the toughest conference. Why aren't teams like, I don't know, Oklahoma absolutely running up the best defense in the country because they play in a softer conference? Why isn't Oregon? Why doesn't Oregon have one of the best defenses in the country, consider that everybody thinks the Pac-12 is one of the weakest out there, and they have one of the most dominant offenses? You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Georgia does a great job on defense. Tennessee does not. Georgia does a great job on offense. Tennessee does slightly better. And so if you're asking me which team is a more complete football team, which team is more likely to beat more teams, I'm going to pick a team that's got a really good defense every time.
Yeah, I agree.
So all of this will be settled tomorrow. I'm sure that there'll be Tennessee fans all over the place jumping up and down, hooping and hollering and saying that we're going to win a national title. Great. If you guys win a national title, hats off to you. I mean, you guys are due for one. But to say that Tennessee's going to come out there and just beat Georgia, you ain't looked at no numbers. You ain't looked at no facts. You ain't looked at no stats. You only been listening to Tennessee Ball Radio.
And the media, a lot of the media is picking
If Tennessee plays offensively like they did against Alabama and defensively like they did against Kentucky, Georgia's going to get walked on. If they play like that, they could probably beat the 85 Bears.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, if Georgia plays like they did against Oregon, I mean,
if Georgia's offense plays like it did against Oregon and it plays its defense like it did in Oregon, in other words, if we just have a complete game, which y'all have never had one of, y'all ain't got a prayer. If Georgia's defense just plays normal, you guys don't have a prayer. If Georgia's offense comes out and plays good and our defense plays average, you guys don't have a prayer. Every bit of pressure in the world is on Hendon Hooker. Every bit of pressure is on Josh Heupel. This is the biggest game he's ever played in the most violent environment. And when those fans step out there and they rock that stadium and Georgia plays discipline, what's Hendon Hooker going to do? He's going to fold up like a tent. That's what he's going to do. We've seen it happen time and time again with high-quality quarterbacks, Bryce Young being one of them. Go back and look at all the quarterbacks that Georgia – go back and look at all the Heisman quarterbacks that Georgia has beaten. Go check that out. Y'all play normal, y'all get smoked. Now, I ain't the one smoking stuff, sir. That'd be you. It would not surprise me to see Georgia score in the 40s and Tennessee score in the 20s. It would not surprise me a bit.
yeah, I definitely think we'll score in the 40s.
This will be – not only will this be the best defense you have seen by a landslide, this will be the best offense you have seen by a landslide. That's what the numbers say. That's what the stats say. That ain't me. Baker Mayfield comes to mind. Yeah. Y'all are great in short yardage. That is Tennessee's strength. It's the long pass plays that's giving us issues. Y'all going to have to beat us over the top.
I disagree. I mean, Alabama, go back and watch that game. Alabama didn't complete a lot of deep passes.
Georgia's just going to play ball hog. That's all they're going to do. And they're going to be a damn thing you do about it.
I think Tennessee's the one that's going to have to beat somebody over the top.
That's correct.
I mean, because I think Georgia's going to stop the run and they're going to force Tennessee to beat our secondary. So I think Tennessee's the one that's going to have to win the over the top game. I don't think Georgia has to do that. I don't think they will even try to do that, and I don't think Georgia has, under Stetson Bennett, has ever had to do that or needed to do that or even tried to do that. So I mean, to say that Georgia's got to beat somebody over the top, we don't have to, and we're not even going to even try.
Somebody brought up the stat that Georgia is 1 for 9, or Kirby is 1 for 9 with teams scoring over 30 points. The fact that you can count on two hands how many times teams have scored over 30 points on us should scare the life out of you.
Plus, this is the best offense Kirby's had, in a couple years. A lot of those times, Georgia's offense has been.
I think it's the best offense Kirby's had, period, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
So
Tennessee has had Florida scored 33 points on them. Alabama scored 49, and that was this season. Let me go back to 2021. The only team that scored more than 24 points on us all season was Alabama, and we beat them when we played them a second time. If I go back to 2020, no team scored 30 points on us all season. 2019, LSU scored 37. That was it. Nobody scored over 30 on that. I go back to 2018. Alabama scored 35 and LSU scored 36. Nobody else scored more than 30. So that's 5 teams in 5 years or something like that. So if you think that just running up 30 points on Georgia is just a walk in the park, there is something severely wrong with the way you assess a game, because you want to act like it's no big deal. That's like 40 games, 5 teams. Come on, man.
And even if Tennessee gets to 30, I think Georgia can still win this game.
Yeah. And I mean, and in those games, it was Georgia's offense that hurt them. And y'all don't have a defense. So why am I worried about that? In the LSU game where LSU scored 36, Georgia only scored 16. When we played Alabama, they scored 35, we scored 28. That was in 2018.
Yeah, I think that is a big picture thing. If you want to bring that stat up about, Kirby being 1-9 in games where teams scored 30 points, that's because Georgia couldn't beat teams in the past.
That's in the past.
Score 30 points. They couldn't score 30 points themselves, much less beat a team that scored 30. So I mean, I don't know. That's a product of not having a great.
And that's when Kirby first came too. So
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I hope Tennessee is not like, expecting to score 35 and 40 points in this game. I just put it that way. Like, I hope they don't expect to score 35 or 40 points. If I was Tennessee, I would be hoping and praying that my defense could hold Georgia to 30 points or less. If Georgia scores over 30 points in this game.
Oh, you know what? Somebody just brought up a really good point in the chat. Wallace Smith, let me check that. So out of those games, how many of those were in Athens?
0.
Florida in 2020. Nope, that was at Jacksonville.
Yep.
That was
Alabama game was in Tuscaloosa that same year.
Yep.
Yeah.
2018. Nope, that was at LSU. 2017. Didn't Kirby start at Georgia in 17?
16.
Yeah, 16.
16. At Auburn was the 40-17 loss, and
So what you're saying is under Kirby, he hasn't given up 30 points in Athens at all.
Have we?
Because the one point he's talking about, I guess what would be the one win where a team scored 30 and we still beat them? I can't.
Oklahoma.
Think of that game.
Rose Bowl.
Oklahoma, yeah.
Yeah. For some reason I was still thinking in Athens. So if you're going by that stat, then it would mean that Georgia hasn't given up 30 in Athens under Kirby, right?
Since 2017, no one has scored more than 30 points in Athens.
Yeah.
The last team to do that was 2016 Tennessee.
Yep, that was Kirby Smart's first year.
That was the Hail Mary game, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So that stat kind of backfires, I think, actually, when you really break it down.
Well, the only team to do it was let me see this game. Let me pull it up real quick. Let me go back.
That goes back to the whole narrative that Tennessee doesn't want to admit, is that this game is going to be very difficult in Athens.
Yep.
No.
By the way, whenever Georgia played Tennessee in Athens and lost that game, Georgia was ranked 25th, and it was 3-2 in conference, and Tennessee was undefeated. That game, unless I'm mistaken, was the Hail Mary pass, wasn't it?
Yep, Josh Dobbs, Hail Mary.
Josh Dobbs Hail Mary pass.
Yeah.
So it took a damn miracle then.
Damn.
So
that was Kirby's worst team.
They had
Kirby's worst team by far.
Yep.
They had Eric Ainge or whatever on the radio today, talking to him, about the tweet that he made about, it being basically playing in Athens overrated or whatever. But they talked about Hendon Hooker, and he said, that when he watched Hendon Hooker last year in spring training, that he thought he was a terrible quarterback, because he came in to be their starting quarterback about halfway through the year last year, some point through the year. And so it just makes you think, like, I know like I said earlier, he's an accurate quarterback, but if you really go back and look at their games this year, it's amazing how many of his games or how many of his passes are just to wide open receivers. And so, they definitely have a good quarterback. They definitely have good receivers, but I think a lot of their success is based off of the scheme they run and the stretching that they do. It's very difficult for teams to be able to do that and then also stop the run, because as soon as you commit out wide to stop those guys, they run the ball. And so if Tennessee runs into a team that can stop the run up front, which I think is what Georgia can do, then I think Tennessee can be in trouble. I mean, schemes are just that. I mean, if you're beating teams with a scheme, you're not beating teams with superior talent, right? Superior talent you can rely on game in and game out. A scheme is only as good as it is when it's fooling people. Once somebody figures out how to beat the scheme, then you got to come up with a new scheme. And I think that's the difference between these two teams. I think that's the difference between these two teams. I think Georgia beats teams by relying on talent to just outplay the player. I mean, that's why Stetson Bennett doesn't have to throw it, 500 yards a game. We can give it to guys and let them win in space. Let them just be the better athlete. Just like we did against Oregon. We lined up man to man and we were better at every position. And so if Georgia figures out a way to stop this scheme, that's what I would be afraid of if I was a Tennessee fan, is that if they figure out a way to stop the scheme, there's no answer.
I agree.
There's nowhere to go. That you can't just say we're just better than you and we're just going to keep doing this and you just can't stop it if they stop the scheme.
So here, it all comes down to, in my opinion, that UGA has the best offense it's had under Kirby Smart, and it's probably second best defense. So you throw all that in the mix, and it's going to be hard for anybody to beat Georgia. Never mind just Tennessee. Tennessee a good football club? Absolutely. But Tennessee is not the dominant player here. And Georgia has home field advantage. If we were playing in Neyland Stadium, I could say, yep, I could see Tennessee winning that game. But you're not playing in Athens.
I mean, I could still see Tennessee winning this game. I mean, I definitely think it's a close matchup. But again, like I said earlier, I thought this was going to be a tough game before Tennessee was undefeated going into this game. I actually thought that there was a possibility Tennessee would be undefeated coming into this game, like at the beginning of the year.
Right.
Because I fully expected Alabama to be down. I mean, everybody knew they lost all their receivers and all this stuff. And I mean, nobody expected, I didn't expect them to be as penalized as they are and just be as undisciplined as they are. But I mean, I'm not surprised. I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm not any more worried about this Tennessee game than I was at the beginning of the year, looking at what they had coming into the year. So, I mean, I think the pressure, I mean, I know people like to say the pressure's on Georgia, but I don't think so. I think Georgia's got this game in Athens. Georgia lines up, outside of the quarterback. I think we line up man for man, just better. Maybe their receivers may be a little bit better, but again, we aren't really even using our receivers. Brock Bowers is a receiver. He lines up and runs receiver routes. So, I mean, I like our personnel, and when you like your personnel lined up against the other team, I like the game.
Yep. Well, guys, I do appreciate everybody being on. We still have almost 100 people in here. I just got this thing set up now, so If you guys want to use the Cash App instead of PayPal, you can use that. I just posted it in the link and I updated the banner. So it's the thing for Cash App is the $. So $UGA Big Dog Brett. So if you guys want to support the channel, you can send something over on that. I will get it on my phone notification and tell me, and I can read your stuff out loud. So appreciate all you guys being here. If you do enjoy the content, if you guys enjoy the smack talk and the rowdy atmosphere that we give, please support the channel so my wife doesn't say I'm wasting my time. Thanks.
I think if you look at the Pitt game, Pitt held them to under 100 yards, and they had the most successful defensive game plan against Tennessee. So I think Georgia might use a similar game plan, but obviously mix things up, get real physical with their receivers, and press them, and not give them too much space to run past our DBs, which Alabama did, which I was surprised.
Well, that's the same. Alabama did not switch up their
game plan,
their defensive game plan against them at all after getting just blistered. But I mean, you go back and look. I mean, the full game's on YouTube for Alabama Tennessee. Just go back and watch it, man. Just look at how often Hendon Hooker is hitting receivers that have 5 yards on the defender, and it's all set up by how far they put their receivers out on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very difficult to guard those guys, particularly if you just can't win. If you can't win man to man against them, and your safeties aren't able to get over and cover. And so,
yeah,
I mean,
I also think Javon Bullard and Tyke Smith, they're going to be huge in this game too. In that nickel spot.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of advantages for Georgia. I don't really see any advantages for Tennessee, other than for Tennessee fans to say they have the number 1 offense.
I mean,
they got then when you show them Georgia has the number 2, they want to start making excuses.
They got a quarterback that can hit the open receiver, and so if they can get receivers open, he's going to hit them. And I mean, that's the thing that Georgia's got to figure out between Kirby and Will Muschamp. They got to figure out how to stop the receivers from getting open. Getting wide ass open. I mean that's it. I mean, you gotta force Hendon Hooker to make pinpoint accurate throws. And if he does that and he beats us, if he does that and he beats us, then hey, whatever. But you can't let him. I mean, go back and look at some of the touchdowns that he threw in the Alabama game. I mean, they weren't even contested.
Yeah.
I mean, not taking anything away from Hendon Hooker, but I mean, most quarterbacks that quarterback for teams in college can hit a lot of the passes that he threw because the guys were just wide open.
Stetson Bennett can't, So.
Well, we don't ask him to. That's the thing. That's the thing. We could if we had receivers if we had our actual receivers that weren't hurt out there running. If we had Arian Smith running free out there, it would actually be kind of dangerous if they had to guard the drag routes and the submarine routes that Georgia runs with Darnell and Brock Bowers, and then you have Arian Smith and A.D. Mitchell running deep. That would actually be pretty dangerous.
So somebody said Hendon Hooker's 40-yard dash is a 4.96. For somebody who said he runs a 10.4, that's very interesting. Because you sure would have to pick up a lot of speed from there on out. So when you're at 5 seconds at the 40, you got to go another 60 yards, and you have to do that in less than 5 seconds.
Hendon Hooker's going to run. He's going to get some yards with his legs. You just better hope.
Holy cow!
You just better hope. Go ahead.
Volunteer Roadshow. Hadn't seen this guy in a month of Sundays, man. How are you doing, buddy? Showed up finally. Glad to see you back, or at least on here. For those of you who don't know, Volunteer Roadshow. I used to do a live show. It was one of the very first guys I started following when I got into college football. Catfish. He used to drive a truck, and I think he has a restaurant now. Lucky Devil gets to hang out with Billy Ratliff all the time. So, thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate you, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're
running a restaurant. I know you're working your tail off.
I also think Georgia has to make Tennessee drive the field. Like, they can't give up these 2-3 play touchdown drives. Make them go 8, 9, 10 plays, and then hopefully you can hold them to field goals when they get in the red zone.
Georgia does have some of the best red zone defense in the country.
Yep.
So I mean, it's going to be interesting. Look
Yeah.
at Mr. Monkeypox, man, showing some class. Appreciate that. Just hello, Georgia fans. Much respect and much love from Tennessee fan. Sure to be a great game. Have a great time. Yes, sir. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm really excited about this game. And here's the one thing I will absolutely say: no matter what my opinions are of how the game is going to go, there's no doubt that games like this will be talked about all season. This is one we'll likely remember from the regular season. This is a great thing for Tennessee to be in a conversation like this, to have all the hullabaloo that it has. It's nice. It's good to see Tennessee trying to get itself back on track.
Let me ask you this. This has been kind of a topic I've seen bubbling up a little bit, with all this talk, and it looks like it's not talk. It's probably inevitable. The 12-team playoff, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we were to have a 12-team playoff this year, do you think it diminishes this game?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I think it diminishes this game on a national level, but I don't think it diminishes this game as what basically in the aspect of what we just had tonight with the conversation of pride between the two schools. I think that's going to be there. I think neither one of these teams wants to lose to the other team. It's Georgia and Tennessee. We don't want to lose this game. Nationally, I think as far as a playoff picture, yes, I think it does diminish it. But I think as far as like what I mean by diminishing it is would I care as much as if we lost? You know what I mean?
Right. Well,
because I think realistically, there's a good chance that the loser of this game actually sets himself up pretty well to make the playoff, honestly, because they probably won't likely have to play in an SEC championship game. They'll be able to sit home that day. They could run the table for the rest of the thing, and depending on what happens with everyone else, I mean, sure, it's great to be in your own, to be in charge of your own destiny. But I mean, we've seen this, especially in the SEC, where a one-loss team that doesn't even play still gets to go in. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the same exact thing happened not too long ago. Yeah.
It happened with Alabama when we beat Auburn.
I think that one of the things that we we're enjoying right now that is going to lose some of its favor once they do go to this expanded playoff is because the more playoff spots you have, the more free passes teams will have on games like this.
Yeah, and
because now you don't have to just win this game; you just have to play it pretty well.
I agree, though, but I think that's somewhat healthy for the sport, though, because like determining. I mean, you just look at last year, right? So determining, we all say that Georgia was the best team in college football, but it took us beating a team that had already beat us, to determine that. So, I mean, that goes to show you that, and you look at any other sport, it's very difficult to go undefeated throughout a regular season. What you have to do, or look at what the Phillies are doing in baseball right now, even though they're about to lose. If you can play the regular season and get to the playoff, you can get hot there and win, and that's okay. You know what I mean? Making it in college football, man, it's almost too razor thin to determine who the best teams are. There's not enough games played between common opponents to actually make a rational decision on who the best teams are. So, I'm kind of okay with diminishing the regular season just a little bit so that we actually get to see some of these teams play each other that we normally wouldn't get to see, right? I mean, you hear all these arguments. I mean, if back when we had no playoff, everybody argued about who the national champion was because it was voted on. Then we went to the BCS where it was the top two teams played each other. And then 3 and 4 argued like, well, why aren't we two? And now we have a 4-team playoff, and now 5 and 6 is like, why aren't we in? And you can make valid arguments about all those teams. Maybe 12 is a little too much, but somewhere around an 8 would be sweet. But I'm okay with, being able to lose a game during the regular season, still making it to the playoff, and having these top 10 teams play each other to determine who the best is.
Absolutely.
I'm completely okay with that.
I think that
it's a bummer when you just lose a game during the regular season. The rest of your season is a wash. It's gone.
Yeah.
Well,
I completely agree. But I will also say the fact that both Georgia and Alabama have lost the SEC championship and then went on to become the national championship tends to lead to that conclusion, is that just because you lose one of those games does not mean that you can't end up being the national champion. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Ryan Larkin says you're weakening your page. # weak and you know it. I'm not sure what you mean, sir. Is he talking about your comment for Philly? By the way, it's fair you should know that Keith is a Braves fan. I'm not sure what he means.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
No, the point I was making about Philly is that they got hot at the right time. Same thing the Nationals did in 2019. Same thing the Braves did last year, as a matter of fact. I mean, we turned it on at the end of the season, but that's what it is. I mean, I'm okay with the team that becomes the champion at the end of the season, not necessarily being the best team at the beginning of the season. You know what I mean? Like, it's about when you get hot, and it's about how you play when the rubber meets the road, when you get into the playoff, get into the point where you're playing big games. And in college football, historically, we haven't gotten to see a lot of these top games. The playoff committee has given us you look at a Georgia Michigan game last year and what Georgia Oklahoma gave us back in 2019 or whatever it was, or 2017. I mean, those games we would have historically not ever saw. We would have not seen those teams get played. And so I'm okay with more of that happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's having good football is always what you want. I mean, you get as much good football as you can. And whenever you have these teams, these high calibers, like I mean, if I could play them with no consequence as far as the playoff committee or whatever, I could just watch them play. I would love to see Georgia play TCU. I would love to see Georgia play Michigan. I would love to see Georgia play Ohio State or Notre Dame or Clemson. I mean, I'll Baylor even. I mean, I'll take those games in a heartbeat because those are fun games to watch. You get to learn a lot about your team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with with the regular season being diminished just a little bit if it means that we get some great football, some playoff games at this end of the year.
Volunteer Roadshow says, my Reds never get hot at any time. Cincinnati Reds? Man, I don't keep up with those guys. Keith's the big baseball fan here.
Yeah, I've done transitioned out of baseball season now. My Braves are gone,
so transition back to football. You're welcome. Having good football is exactly what you want. # money grab. I'm confused, Larkin. I mean, obviously you want some attention here, so I'm willing to give it to you. What do you mean money grab? Because I'm interested. Because if you think that with 6,000 subs you can make this a full-time job, I need you to show me how to do it, sir, because I ain't even close. Money grab. There's no way that you're in this for the money. You got disconnected. But yeah. I've been doing this for how long have I been doing this, Keith? 4 years? 3 or 4 years?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
4 or 5 years, something like that. I wasn't even able to monetize my account until I'd had my account for 2.5 years. So I put in at least 2.5 years of pure effort before I ever got a penny back. And then you have to make $100 on your Google AdSense account before they will send you anything. So that took another 4 or 5 months.
Derek says, no offense, but Georgia's not wanting to play my Buckeyes. True enough. But your Buckeyes don't want to play Georgia either.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think either one of these teams want to play each other.
Yeah.
These are both really good football teams. Don't get me wrong. Volunteer Roadshow, he's been on his channel for a lot longer than I have. He said, you put in the work, big dog. I reached out to him when I first started doing my channel for advice, and he was nothing but cordial and friendly with me. He'd take my phone calls, we would talk, he'd give me advice. Um, he was the one that got me started doing the end of the game reactions. Like I used to just make videos talking about the game. Before the game, I would do a little halftime report, and then I'd talk about the game after the game. Well, Bobby started doing videos of his reaction to players like DeAndre Swift. And man, those videos really were fun to watch. And so I decided that I wanted to start doing the fan reaction videos to the games. And so I did one or two, and they were really popular. So I continue to do it. Here we go. Since it's I'll just do that for you. Since it's lackluster content, then you just won't have to watch it. I'll save you the trouble, sir. Have a good day. So you don't have to worry about him. He's gone. You'll have to build another account to come back. So just somebody who's trolling who has no idea how much effort this takes. This takes time away from family. This takes time away from other events, other sporting stuff. I have to put time into research teams, pull up facts, to pull up stats. I have to make phone calls to Keith to discuss what he wants to talk about. Can he come on the show? Is he able? Does he want to? Does he feel like coming onto the show? So, I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. And if you think it's a money grab, you're sorely confused with how this works. I come on here because I enjoy it. I have a good time talking with people. I get to be at home. I have my own little studio here, what's not. So, I mean, this is like my little space in the house I get. I don't, I'm not out drinking, not doing drugs, not gambling, not chasing women. I don't have no hot rod to throw money into. So, this is what I got. I probably have $500 total in everything I have here. And as far as being a grown man with a hobby, you won't find many that have only spent $500 on their hobby. Yeah. Yeah. But college football is something that we enjoy, but also interact with other people around, and it's kind of is what it is, man. If you don't like it, you don't have to be here. I can't make you watch YouTube. So what do you think your final score is going to be for tomorrow?
I've already called. I'm going 40-30, Georgia.
You going 30-40? I'm going 31-20.
Yeah, hold Tennessee to 20, huh?
I think so. Yeah. And I think that Georgia does that by slowing the game down. I put my foot in my mouth on a number of occasions, but what I'm looking at here is realistically, probably didn't make Bobby happy with saying I'm gonna hold his Vols to 20, but what I'm looking at is that statistically, it's very, very difficult to put 30 points on Georgia. So then you have to have a conversation. So you're going to say 21, or you're going to say 21 points, which is 3 touchdowns, or are you going to say 4 touchdowns and go 28? And that doesn't seem right. I think that they're more likely to get 2 field goals and 2 touchdowns. I think that's 4 drives that result in points. I think that's reasonable. I think that Georgia's going to get some 3 and outs. I think Georgia's going to stop some drives. And I think that's going to frustrate them. And then Georgia's going to put together some methodical drives, and they're going to get 4 or 5 touchdowns, probably 4, and kick a field goal. That's just what I think. See, Bobby's pretty close. He's 35-31. Franklin Holly says, how was Herschel Walker in person? Very busy, but very cordial. A very nice man. Very cordial. Catfish says 25-21. I bet he does. He says 51 and 21 points for the Vols. That makes sense. I can see Georgia getting 51 on you guys. JT, we try not to get into the politics too much, man, if we can help it. David, the double I's threw me for a loop there. David Lyric says 37-28 Dogs.
Yeah,
I can see that too.
that's
where
that's where I'm at in there. I mean, I'm at a 10-point game.
I'm at a 10-point game. I'm just lower scoring, and I keep going back to how we played Clemson and how we played Alabama and that sort of thing. That's just kind of where I'm at.
I just hope that they've figured out a way to stop this little, stop wide open receivers. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think Georgia has any. I don't think Georgia has any shortage of talent on defense, and they've certainly had more than enough time to watch tape.
And they got great coaching minds with Muschamp and Kirby being able to watch as much tape.
Will do, Bobby. I appreciate you being on here, buddy. I'll give you a call. I agree. Giving somebody a lot of time to study tape is really, really hard on your system, especially if you're a younger coach. It's one thing to pull off one miracle. It's a completely another to pull off two.
Yeah.
And I think the one miracle makes the team look better than it is. Now, they didn't put big points on them, but I'm saying there's a lot of help from Alabama. And so that makes me worried that they're, being able to do that twice, that's quite the feat.
Yeah, they scored half their points in the first quarter.
Yeah.
For the most part. So
JT says, Dogs by 2 touchdowns, easy victory. College Football Committee is a hoax. There are some people that think that the College Football Committee is somehow in cahoots with Vegas, and that they're using that.
I don't know that they're in cahoots with Vegas, but I absolutely think that they, at this point in the year, that they hype up certain teams and certain games. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, think of it this way.
I mean, how do you make this game bigger? You make Tennessee the higher ranked team, right?
Well, it draws eyes to college football, don't it?
Not to say that Tennessee didn't go out and earn it, but I mean, if you really could put Ohio State, Tennessee, and Georgia in any order that you want to, and I think nobody would really be able to argue it. But so when you have that opportunity, why not make Tennessee one when you want to hype up a potential game? The only thing that I thought was odd is that they put Georgia at 3 instead of 2. I mean, makes more sense to have a 1-2 versus a 1-3, but.
Well, I think that they were. I don't think they wanted 2 SEC teams rubbing elbows at 1 and 2.
But yeah,
so I think that they put Ohio State in there, and I believe there was something.
I mean, they even said something about that when they put who was it? They put it 4. They put Michigan.
Yeah.
At 5, and then Clemson was no. They put Clemson. I can't remember what it was, but they even mentioned when I was watching the show. They mentioned that that it would hype up a game, and I'm like, wow, you just admitted it basically.
Yeah, there was something Paul Feinbaum said about that the college football playoff doesn't agree with him, and he doesn't agree with him. And that he jumped up and down or whatever, or yelled or something other, and they didn't care. They didn't listen to him. So, I don't know.
I mean, I think it's, I don't know, all the rankings is just marketing ploy. I mean, that's the only reason they have preseason rankings in the first place is to hype up the first couple games. I mean, it actually, preseason rankings, in my opinion, does more harm to college football than it does good. Well,
I mean, and anybody who's watched college football for any period of time will tell you that it doesn't matter what the preseason ranking is. You're going to know, you're going to be in week 6 or 7 before you really know anything. Because if you look at week 1, so I'm going to go to.
I mean, Florida beat Utah right off the rip, right? And Utah was 7 in the country, and that catapulted Florida up into 15th or something like that. And then you had all these teams that started. I mean, this is one of the reasons that people get this SEC bias, is you start getting people building off of beating Florida, and then. Well, everybody thought Florida was good because they beat Utah, and so that they get ranked high. And you've seen it. It seems like everybody in the SEC East has had a chance to be in the top 25 because they've beat each other. It's like now ain't none of them there.
Here's an interesting little tidbit. So, at the beginning of the season, Alabama was ranked number 1, and Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Clemson 4. That was preseason. Currently, right now, it's Tennessee number 1, Ohio State 2, Georgia 3, Clemson 4. So 2, 3, and 4 are correct. And the rest, wait a minute. Oregon was ranked 11 preseason. They're currently ranked 8th. The rest of them are way off. Like Texas A&M was 6th. Nah.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is that nobody knows what the hell these teams are at the beginning of the season, and assigning a ranking to them puts weight on when some team beats them. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I mean, just because you give a preseason ranking to a team, then you may give them a rank, 10th ranked team in the country, and then somebody unranked beats them because the 10 ranked team is really not all that good. Nobody's really seen them play. It's just some arbitrary ranking you've given them. And all of a sudden now the team that was unranked jumps up to like 12th in the country. And then they're terrible. You know what I mean?
Smokey T says because Kentucky would beat every SEC team that Georgia played. Well, that's not true because they lost to South Carolina.
So South Carolina beat them. We beat the hell out of South Carolina. Transitive property doesn't work. You gotta go out and play the game.
It doesn't work. Now, you can draw comparisons if you guys play the same team. Like Georgia played Florida, Tennessee played Florida. You can draw some comparisons there, but you can't do Georgia played Kentucky, Kentucky played South Carolina played Tennessee. That doesn't work. And you can do that by playing round robin from a few years ago. I mean, it just doesn't work. Anyway, we didn't got in here to about 12:30. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it a night.
Yeah, let's do that.
You can stay if you like. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to talk it out. Keith, if you'll just stick around here, we're gonna drop me and you to the background here, and then I'm going to give them some outro music. Sound good?
Yes, sir.